Oh, yeah. Spaghetti. The spaghetti ain't too Western anymore, motherfuckers. Yeah.
Say what?
I don't know.
Spaghetti Westerns?
Yeah. I don't know. Spaghetti Western, man. I don't know. The fuck do you want from me, huh? What do you want, Paul?
Nothing, TJ. Just
I
your
didn't
friendship.
space out or fall asleep. Yay me. Good for you, Johnny. Good for you. You wonderful piece of shit.
What a fella.
You're astonishing. You're a wonder. I don't want to show that. Get out of here. Piece of goddamn shit. Dun, 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 dun. Thank you, TJ. Yeah, you're welcome. You're all welcome. Fabulous.
TJ for? TJ didn't do nothing.
Yeah, I did plenty of things. I did so many fucking things, Paul. You don't even believe.
You ain't done nothing. Corn Pop's
Corn Pop is like desperately trying to get in this room for some fucking reason. I think he thinks I have more tuna. Because I went out there and I was like, I'm gonna eat a can of tuna. And I ate a can of tuna, and then he was like all up my ass about it, like, oh shit, oh fuck, you got tuna, oh fuck, oh my god, yes, give me tuna. So I gave him a little tiny piece, and that was a mistake because now, that was like throwing chum in the water, Now the sharks are swimming about. And he's like, there's tuna in there. I fucking know there is. Let me in that motherfucker. It's like, he doesn't know. There's no tuna left in here. I ate it all. It's gone.
Why are you lying, TJ? You got a stash of fucking tuna in there, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Keeping it from the cat. How dare you?
I mean, I read the other day that fucking, all the plankton is dead and shit, and we're all going to die. Mm-hmm. So I was like, part of me is like, man, fucking... so angry about it. But part of me is just like, I should stockpile on that tuna while it still exists,
Yeah.
Have the last tuna stores. Like, hey, I know this might be the last tuna sandwich you get, motherfucker. Ocean's gonna be dead soon.
Isn't most tuna not even really tuna?
I don't know. Is it not?
I don't know. I thought it was like a bunch of different types of fish, like cod and shit, and they'd throw it in there and call it tuna.
It wouldn't surprise me because nothing's honest anymore. It's just like, yeah. Pretty soon they'll just be like growing it in trees.
I do know that like restaurants, I don't order fish, so this never affects me, but like restaurants will straight up just like make up a fish to sell like grouper or whatever the fuck, like a fish that people aren't like all impressed by.
Peruvian smarm fish, or I don't know, who knows.
Peruvian river bass with leeks, you know what I mean? And
the Chilean sea bass is like the most famous example of that, because it used to have a really unappealing name and no one wanted to eat it, so they changed the name to Chilean sea bass just to make it more palatable, because it was called like toothfish or something before that, and people were like, I don't want to eat no fucking toothfish, that sounds disgusting. Yeah. Oh, it's a Chilean sea bass, sir. Oh, yeah.
Well, that's far more to my exacting color, Oh, yes. TJ's makeup is awesome. Yeah, dude. TJ's turned into a fucking bad guy wrestler this year.
That's what I do.
What's this guy's name? Needs to have a name like Shaka or like... I don't know. You got to have like a voodoo kind of name. I don't know.
Call myself the Arachnid.
The Arachnid
is coming for you.
You can't name yourself the Arachnid and be afraid of spiders, dude.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I
you get bit by and killed by a fucking spider.
Batman's scared of bats, dude. It's like how, sometimes you got to use your own fear to motivate yourself to destroy your enemies. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful thing.
I suppose, yeah.
You know what else is a beautiful thing?
What?
This fucking thing right here.
Oh. Yeah. I can't not be happy when I'm looking at Steve Harvey, man.
I know.
He's got like the world's greatest face, I think.
Yeah, I think that's like I think the entire key to his success in life is just his face.
The reaction shot, dude. The fucking Steve Harvey reaction shot.
Yeah, he know. I mean, like he has that face and he knows how to use it, and it almost looks like fake. Like his teeth look fake as fuck. His mustache looks like almost cartoonish. I
Yeah.
mean, he literally looks like a fucking like some politically incorrect movie where they've like dressed up a white dude as in a black dude costume or something. You know what I mean? Like
I guess I can kind of see that.
he doesn't look real to me. You
Yeah,
know,
no, he definitely doesn't look real.
he has a surreal quality. You know, the thing about Steve Harvey is, I think he's pretty funny. I don't think I want to make a clarification about that. Like, I don't think his material is good, but I think he's like naturally pretty funny, dude.
He's better
Because
when he's like off script and reacting to ridiculous shit. And
yeah, like
they put
he's
him in
great at
that
that like kind of
position.
like flat face, like that kind of like what
Yeah.
doing these like expressions of like the put upon, like I can't believe what's going on right now
It's a cookie
kind of thing.
duster. Can I touch your cookie duster? I'll never forget that. There's a bunch of fucking compilations of it, but there's a couple of like Steve Harvey compilations on YouTube. They're just like fucking surrealist gold. You know what I
I
mean?
know, yeah. Who's that guy that does those? Vic something?
Yeah, Vic Berger.
Yeah. And he those cuts he does, it's like, I don't want to do this show no more.
Yep.
I don't want to do this show no more. Fart. Like we quote that all the time. We fucking just sometimes we'll just like get in the fucking zone of like fart, pass gas, flatulence, fart. Then it
Gotta
cuts
love
to
him.
Steve Harvey's face. I'm like, I don't want to do this show no more. Like, all right, I mean, like, how do you not fucking love it? You know what I mean?
You know where else Steve Harvey pops up? And like, I'll be looking at YouTube shorts or whatever, just kind of like doing the mindless scroll, and he'll pop up with like inspirational speeches and shit.
Oh yeah, we'll see some of that for sure. He's like really big into that shit.
Yeah.
He loves inspiration. He loves motivation.
His
Loves
motivation is
Christianity.
basically like, I became a superstar by sheer will, and so can you. That's basically what I take from it.
Yeah, I don't know, because not everyone has your face, Steve Harvey. I think you underestimate just how blessed you were to be born with the face you were born with.
Yeah, I mean, not everybody gets the Steve Harvey face,
Because it's not like it's an attractive face, but it's a face that fucking conveys certain emotions with like a power that I don't think most people have. And I think people see you reacting to certain shit like, what the fuck? And people are like, oh, wow, I relate to that because that's how I feel inside. The face he's making is how I feel inside. I relate to that man. I like him. Put him in front of me in more media, please.
Yeah. I will say this, the longer I have this still image of Steve Harvey up on my screen and I stare at it, the more I notice.
More and more disquieting, right?
Yeah, I start to notice odd things, like his eyes are not smiling. Like his eyes look like they're filled with a deep, unfathomable sadness.
That's part of the charm, dude. Like, I think that he fucking like there is like an element of like suffering to Steve Harvey that like that's like what appeals, I think, on some level.
He's the avatar of suffering. He's the everyman suffering through a crazy world.
Yep. I mean, look at him. He's got like, I mean, even if you look at his like actual smile, he's really not smiling all that hard. And like he's showing a lot of teeth.
Yeah.
But there's not really much of like an upward. It's honestly kind of like a downward curve to his fucking face,
Yes.
Like there's the bottom lip is smiling. The top lip is frowning.
It's very odd. It really is, because he's trying. This is like a promotional photo. It looks like they're trying to make him look like a big, happy, gregarious dude. But he really, like, the more you look at him, the more he looks like a basset hound or something. Just like those sad eyes.
Yeah, he does look like a fucking basset hound.
He does, man. I gotta pull up a picture of a basset hound just so I can see if it.
Yeah, comparison. Yeah, I think I can. I think I could pull one up and put it next to him, honestly. Basset hound.
Yeah. Yeah, this is it, dude. He's a basset hound for sure.
Oh, yeah.
It's in the eyes, man. The eyes tell the tale.
The eyes of the basset hound. The sad eyes. I got to find one that's like making his same expression. Oh, yeah, this is pretty close. Come on. Just show me the picture, motherfucker. Open image in new tab.
Steve Harvey, the basset hound, dude.
Yeah. You know.
Oh, yeah. It's the eyes, man.
It's all in the eyes. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah. So his name is not even Steve Harvey. So this guy's a total fraud, man.
What?
Yeah,
no,
you think his name is Broderick, dude.
Broderick?
Yeah, his real name is Broderick.
Nah, man. I can see why he goes by Steve Harvey.
His middle name is Steve.
Okay.
Broderick Stephen Harvey Sr. Wants to make you let you know I'm the fucking original now. Don't be calling me no junior or some shit. I'm the fucking senior, bitch. Okay? Don't fucking get it. Don't get your wires crossed on that one.
As a junior, can I just say that the whole junior senior shtick is cringe as fuck and needs to be like abolished? Like, you need to be, there needs to be a law. If you're gonna have a child, you got to come up with a new name for it.
Yeah, like, because like this whole like, I mean, it just like, doesn't it just tip the cards like, I expect you to be a clone of me, please.
I mean, it's the most
one
fucking,
clone,
like,
please.
It's the most blatant example of that. It's like, you know, a lot is said about like the expectations a father puts on a son, but it doesn't get heavier than like, you will walk in my shoes to such an extent that I've given you the same name as me.
You are but a continuation of that which is I.
It's like, whoa,
no,
bro.
thanks. No, I'd rather not. Fuck that. Sorry, thanks. I'm the third, but I'm actually the first. But it's a long, convoluted story, so whatever. Anyway, Steve Harvey, you know, we'll get into the stupid biographical shit, you know.
Damn.
Born on January 17th, 1957, Welch, West Virginia, to Jesse Harvey, a coal miner, and Eloise Vera, a Sunday school teacher. Harvey had severe stuttering problem as a child, which he later overcame. Steve loved to tell jokes and make his family laugh during the hard times. And he wanted to make people laugh for a living. You know? Those bring joy to the world.
Dude, you can tell just looking at this picture that Broderick was the guy that you went to like if you were new in town and you needed some weed. Like, I don't think he was selling it, but he could point you in the direction. You know what I mean?
He could be like, oh, yeah, Jermaine down the street.
Jermaine.
Yeah. Jermaine's a weed dealer name.
Yeah, it is, actually.
This is his cool period.
This is what I'm saying. Nobody dresses like this and doesn't know where you can get weed.
This is before the sadness was in his eyes fully. Like, you see it beginning to creep in as he realizes the profound horror of existence. But like, you know, he still has some hope here. You can see it. You know, he still has like, man, the future's bright kind of shit, you know?
Yeah. He looks like a rat for the cops. He kind of does, yeah.
Oh, yeah, like from like a 70s TV show or something.
Yeah, like a 70s blaxploitation movie. He's the dude.
Let's go visit Broderick. He'll let us know the skinny on the streets.
I've got a CI named Broderick. We just got to find him.
Little chicken shit motherfucker. There he is.
Yeah, dude. He looks, dude, not many people can pull this look off. There's not many people in the world that could wear this outfit and look anything but ridiculous. And he's one of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He makes it work for him.
He's kind of got like a black Bob Dylan vibe a little bit.
Yeah. He kind of reminds me of Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix had that flamboyant kind of like dress style.
Which I never thought I'd be saying about a picture of Steve Harvey, but
yeah, who knew?
Here we are, you know. It's about the confidence. No, I've seen some people wear some things pretty confidently and still not work, you know.
I mean, it works.
Confidence gets you. I mean, it does get you.
It gets you halfway there.
Yeah, but you know,
whether you other people accept it or not, feel good. You know what I mean? That's where confidence gets you. It gets you halfway to looking cool like this. The other half of it is just, I don't know. It's genetics, man.
It's like knowing what to wear to look good for you. Because, like, I believe that there's like clothes that could flatter pretty much any person, even like a hideous person. Like, you can wear something that leans into it, you know?
Yes.
But you know, not everyone fucking has a good sense of like what's gonna fucking look good on me. And if you're like me, and you're fucking just like a weirdly shaped fucking long torso giant ball of fucking different disjointed parts, then you gotta just like fucking take what you can get, you know. You find a shirt that fits. You don't care, if I found a shirt this is like Love Christ or something, I'd just be like, well, I'll wear it ironically, it fits me, thank God.
Dude, there's something that I've always wanted to do, but I've never had like the balls to do it, because I firmly believe that like pretty much everybody has like a style that they look best in.
Yeah.
And I never explored anything. Like, I dress exactly like I dressed when I was fucking 12 years old.
Me too.
I mean?
But it's like, because for me, it's like I'm just
well,
a weird shape to find those
like
options.
You've got some weird little esoteric.
I do have a few
things. I don't have anything like that. Like, I've got a pea coat, a bunch of hoodies, a bunch of t-shirts, a bunch of fucking, you know, comfortable pants. That's all I wear. I've always wanted to like set aside a little money. And I know there are people that do this, but I don't know where to look for them. Like a personal stylist type person that will take your measurements and then shop for you and find a bunch of shit that you look really good in, you know?
That would be pretty cool. I would do that too. So if you find one, let me know.
Because I don't know if I'll ever do it, because there's a part of me that doesn't really care. I gave up on caring how I look, you know, probably about a decade ago.
I mean, you're in the end time, so you know you might as well like, you know, look good while the world fucking implodes, right?
Yeah, but I see shit like this, and it just like inspires me, because I go like, I'll probably never ever be able to look that cool, but there's definitely like a personal style thing that I could do that would get me like closer to this.
By the way, Steve Harvey's birthday is actually also Jim Carrey's birthday. And it's officially Popeye Day. So,
oh shit,
yeah. So before he began a career in stand-up, Harvey worked as an amateur boxer, an auto worker, an insurance salesman, a carpet cleaner, and a mail carrier. So this dude kind of like tried out a lot of different fucking professions just to see like what would stick. Obviously, none of that stuck. Although life was rough, Steve never gave up hope.
I don't want to clean these carpets no more.
Yeah. Eventually, his hard work led to his first stand-up comedy gig. Okay.
It's Margaret Cho. Look at that.
All right.
There she is.
Harvey's first stand-up performance was at the Hilarities Comedy Club in Cleveland, Ohio on October 5th, 1985. His stand-up was met with much success. He quit his job the next day, taking a, quote, leap of faith. Harvey subsequently became homeless for the rest of the 1980s. I guess that leap of faith didn't immediately pan out. He slept in his 1976 Ford, showered at truck stops and swimming pool showers. Harvey was a finalist in the second annual Johnny Walker National Comedy Search Performance on April 16th, 1990.
Okay.
So Steve's success from Comedy Search led to him hosting It's Showtime at the Apollo.
I wonder what caused him to go through such a stark stylistic change.
I think he just kind of realized that like he could lean into his appearance to make people laugh.
I think
And
you're
it was
probably
like,
right about that because I imagine that like a Steve Harvey left to his own devices would probably look way more like Richard Pryor or something. You know what I mean? Like a cool kind of dress, that cool nonchalant, casual kind of thing. But it looks like pretty early on, even though this is like an absurdly loud, ridiculous example of one, you can see that like early on in his comedy career in the late 80s, early 90s, he's already doing the suit, tie, clean cut, mustache look. Like that just hasn't changed. And so I guess like he had like an interesting vision for his career. You know what I mean? He thought about the way that he looked probably way more than a lot of people do.
yeah, I mean, I think he leans into it a lot. And I think that, you know, like if a joke bombs or something, a lot of times he can pull it out with a funny reaction to it, you know, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's always a good skill to have, is to like have like an out if you start bombing.
I don't know if this jacket is an example of it, but
I don't know either, because it's the 90s. So maybe this was like people were just like at the time, like cool suit, and that's all they thought of it, you know.
The late 80s, early 90s, there was this brand called Cross Color.
Yeah.
And like everybody at my school, I never wore it, thank goodness, because the pictures of that would be fucking cringe. But a bunch of kids at my school, like it was the hot thing to wear, where it's like you have a pair of pants with 2 different colored legs, you know, or like 3 different primary colors on a pair of pants or a jacket or whatever the fuck. Yeah. So this like block kind of primary colored look was super popular back then.
Just look at the intro to like Saved by the Bell or something, you know,
or just watch like an
those geometric shapes.
Watch like a rapper R&B video from that era, and you'll see.
So he has not done stand-up comedy for several years now, stating that cancel culture has ruined comedy. So he's like a victim of cancel culture, you know.
I don't know if like he probably just doesn't want to dip his toe into it because like controversy does nothing but hurt his career.
Right, because I mean, like he's Mr. Family Friendly and shit, right?
Right.
So a lot of his comedy actually has religious elements to it because he's a deeply religious dude. So I don't want to play
and what's
too,
he talking
too much,
about, like getting canceled for them?
I don't know. Like, you know, I mean, it doesn't.
All
whatever.
y'all
We'll
ain't going to no heaven. Half of y'all snuck liquor in here.
I do like how they cut to a dude who did that.
Yeah, cut to a dude who's getting his sip on. They just happen to have one in there.
Oops. I accidentally went too far. There we go.
By round of applause, how many of
So
y'all
here's a most replayed moment. This is the best YouTube feature added in a long time, by the way.
I don't use it yet. I haven't gotten used to it yet, but it is interesting when I do remember it's there. Typically, I just forget that it's a thing.
You know how you always cutting in line trying to act like you was there? Hey, I've been here. I'm trying to tell you now. Been here all day.
Canceled. Can't even. What? You can't
man,
say
this
that,
is
Steve
way
Harvey.
You can tell, man. Way too edgy for modern times.
I mean, like, if he fucking tried to get away with this material now, just like he'd be canceled in a heartbeat. In a fucking heartbeat, bro. That's just too many tabs. Well, we got a lot of fucking shit to show you, motherfuckers. I don't know what to tell you. Here's quit doing these things at church. Make sure the volume is adequate. Let's see.
This is going to be the one.
Church all my life. I know something
that one's
about
already
it now.
super loud.
And it's just some things I wish they stopped doing up at the church. That's all. And you.
There's a lot of things I wish they'd stop doing up at the church myself.
Like attending it and funding it.
Yeah. Having tax exempt status,
wasting land with it that could be used for like homeless people or any
brainwashing people, exploiting people financially,
involving themselves in politics, even though they're expressly forbidden from doing so by their tax exempt status. You know, there's a bunch of shit I wish people would stop doing up in church.
Yeah, me too. Wonder if he's gonna say any of that.
You probably do too, but y'all scared to say it. Cause you members and all this here. Well, I ain't a member there, so I pretty much say what I don't like going down at the church. I got a couple of things I wanted to talk with y'all about since it's just us. That's concerning me about the church. Some stuff I wish they stopped doing. And here they
I feel like you've established the premise really thoroughly there. That you literally just for 30 seconds, you're like, there's some shit at the church I don't like. There's some shit at the church I'm going to criticize. I'm about to tell you my problems with the church. All right, here we go. Now it's time for me to tell you the problems I got with the church, and I'm going to say them now, right here, in a second. I'm going to tell you my problems with the church, motherfucker.
Dude, he's just doing the old fucking tell him what you're gonna tell him, tell him, and then tell him what you told him.
Yep.
You know,
he's making sure he's really making sure this audience gets this fucking premise. Like, all right, here's the fucking premise of what I'm talking about. Make sure you fucking understand.
They go.
I should probably do that more because sometimes I feel like I go too fast and people get left behind, you know?
For those of you that's got them bad kids.
All right. Bad kids.
I'm talking about the ones that you can't do nothing with at your house. Stop bringing them kids to church, dropping them off at the baby Bible school, and then turn around, walk out like you don't know what's finna happen.
Yeah. Sick of that shit.
Man,
Enough. Canceled.
I can see. I mean, he really is walking the razor's edge of acceptability here.
I know.
You know what I mean?
It's like
so,
really fucking edgy comedy, you know?
So yeah, he's basically the same type of comedian as he is a, show host. He's supposed to be bland, middle of the road, inoffensive, funny, but not at anybody's expense.
Oh, not at anybody's expense. He's about to say F you to OJ Simpson right here.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Is always of the controversial nature. Ain't nothing changed. Here we go.
You a controversial man.
Ain't no need of looking around, getting mad at what I'm about to say.
Hell yeah.
These are my opinions. Therefore, it makes them the right ones. You got a different opinion, keep it to yourself.
See, he's doing the same shit. Tell him you're gonna tell him.
Make sure he's really fucking hammering home the premise, and also just making sure, like, preemptively, like, I don't want to hear you shit. This is just an opinion. Fuck you.
This is a storytelling structure as well. Like, if you listen to some of the old like story times with Paul, a lot of the stories, especially the ones I've worked a lot, follow this exact like type of arc. It's like you like start the story by preparing people and telling them a truncated version of the story.
You think? That's what I'm here for. We might as well get it out the way. It's in the news every day. OJ Simpson.
Man, what a great time to be a comedian where you can just literally just say OJ Simpson and get a fucking pop, you know?
Oh, yeah.
You don't have to fucking make a joke. You just like OJ Simpson.
Well, dude, the world was fucking obsessed. Like, it's hard to explain to people how obsessed people were with that trial. It's like,
right, so here's what you could do. Just take the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial, times that by like 1,000. And that's where you were pretty much.
The Amber Heard trial, the Jodi Arias trial, the what was her name? Casey Anthony trial. Roll all of those together in terms of interest, and then times it by 10. And that was the OJ thing. People would literally every day come straight home from work or whatever, while they were at work, if they could get away with it, sit and watch the live trial. Like, even though court is like the most boring thing in the world, 99% of the time, people would sit there waiting to hear the next fucking sentence that was said. People were and everybody was watching it. So it was like the really first mass like internet / whatever the fuck celebrity trial that like captured it, and it held on to people's fucking imaginations went on over a year. So
yeah, I mean, people are just like, I don't know, they fucking pretty much just devoted their lives to it, just like waiting for the next little nugget to They're coming out and everyone can just, oh, did you see? Like to the point where they were like obsessed with like what the attorneys were wearing and shit. It got to that level of like
everybody.
Oh my God, you see her? Oh my fuck. Oh, she's ridiculous.
It was like a show. Every witness that was introduced in the OJ trial was like a new celebrity. That person enjoyed like at least 3 or 4 weeks of like unabashed, can't go anywhere, paparazzi swarming celebrity status. The judge was a celebrity, the prosecutor and the whole defense team, celebrities. You know what I mean? It was crazy. So yeah, to the point where you could just stand in front of an audience and go like, all right, let's get to it. OJ Simpson. Whoa! You know, and people blow up like you just fucking told the fucking joke of the century.
Yeah, I had that stupid dancing Edos shit that was like super popular for a minute for some reason.
It was garbage.
Now, you can have your opinion of whether you think he did it or not. Most people have formed one already. You may not agree with what I'm about to say, but damn it, I think he did it. I think OJ killed everybody in that goddamn driveway. Tried to kill that dog, too. Dog had blood on his ass. He was just too quick for OJ's ass. So I'll tell you a couple things make me think he did it. First of all, like my daddy always say, stick to what you do. You a football player? Hell, play football. If you don't know how to commit murder, damn it, don't do it. Stay your ass at the house. What you out there trying killing people for if you ain't good at it? Plus his old ignorant ass.
I think he was pretty good. I mean, he did it pretty well.
Yeah.
You know, he killed a few people. Yeah, this gets you canceled, man. Saying OJ killed those people, I mean, that's a pretty controversial fucking opinion, you know?
I mean, it kind of like back in the day, I could see because he's in front of what looks to be when you see like an audience shot a predominantly black crowd. So
and there was like a lot of black people who were like carrying water for OJ.
Right.
You know?
Or just like, even if he did do it, it's one black guy that beat the system rather than getting beat by it. So fuck it. You know?
Yeah. So it's like, you know, everyone wants to, you know, it's time for us to win one, basically, because we've lost so many that we should have won. Let's win the one we shouldn't have. I don't give a fuck.
It's a sad state of affairs, but it's just the truth.
Steve Harvey has a lot of love to give his big family. Meet the TV star's 7 children.
See this shit right here,
that he knows
man?
of.
There's gonna be like a whole dynasty of Steve Harveys on this planet until it finally burns out. You know what I mean? 7 fucking kids. Get out
First,
of here.
you got Carly Harvey, one of Steve's twins. There you go. Brandy Harvey. Then you got Broderick Harvey Jr.
Oh, shit.
Then you got Winton Harvey.
Looks like he got some of his dad's signature swagger going on there.
Uh-huh. Then you got Morgan Harvey. Then you got Jason Harvey.
Can somebody pop a fucking
Lori
condom?
Harvey.
Like, pop a condom on this guy, please.
Too many Harveys. Too many Harveys.
It's a fucking billion Harveys now. Great.
Well, I guess he needed to have a lot of kids to fill his gigantic palatial mansion.
Jesus Christ. Even amongst like giant mansions, this one is ostentatious. It looks like Versailles or some shit.
Sitting on 17 acres, the nearly 35,000 square foot mega mansion is located on prime land overlooking the Chattahoochee River in Atlanta, Georgia. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh my god. And he's on 17 acres too, so you know that's like beyond private. There's there's no road access that isn't gated to this fucking house. So he's basically just like got a little wonderland built for himself out in the woods in Georgia.
Yeah, a fucking 35,000 square foot palatial mansion, a giant swimming pool, probably every amenity under the sun. Here's the interior. You got that fucking whole double staircase thing that the rich folk love.
The Grand Escalier.
Mm-hmm. You know.
Yeah, it just
all
looks
this
like
shit.
some kind of like museum fucking place or whatever. It's just like complete.
Now, who knows if he actually has it decorated like this? This is probably just the photos from when it was on sale.
Yeah. I assume it's similarly tastefully decorated in there.
You know, you got your gigantic pool,
Big pool, looks like an
lounging
attached
area.
jacuzzi thing. I mean, it looks
There's actually
pretty,
a couple of those, maybe.
yeah.
Yeah, some different layers. Yeah, so it pays to be Steve Harvey.
I guess it does, yeah. Pays a lot. Like a fucking whole lot. Now you see why he doesn't do stand-up. It's like, are you gonna really like risk losing a huge chunk of that? He has a net worth of $1 billion.
As for Harvey's other holdings, the TV host owns another large house in Atlanta and used to be the proud owner of a 6,500 square foot, 5-bedroom, 6.5 bath estate in Little Elm, Texas. I guess he sold that in 2020.
Whoa.
And before buying his current compound in Atlanta, Harvey and his family of 9 set up residence in Beverly Hills, California. The Harveys rented in the exclusive Beverly Park guard-gated community for $100,000 a month. In 2013, Harvey purchased a 5,500 square foot penthouse on the 88th floor of Trump International Hotel and Tower in Chicago. Harvey lived in the posh penthouse while filming his daytime talk show, The Steve Harvey Show. Then in 2018, he sold the luxury condo for $7.7 million.
What the fuck?
Oh, yeah. Money,
Steve
money,
Harvey
money.
has more money than God, dude. He's
Probably because he's such a
billionaire.
prolific author. You know, he wrote these 4 books. Act like a lady, think like a man. What men really think about love, relationships, intimacy, and commitment. Steve Harvey, straight talk, no chaser. How to find, keep, and understand a man. So he's writing these books for women, it sounds like.
Yeah, well, yeah. These are like, it's so strange to me that he like became a person that people would go to for this type of thing. Like, so at what point does he jump from stand-up comedy to like this? You know, like self-help
At a
guru.
point where you're sufficiently rich, people will just listen to your advice on shit. Because they'll just be like, he's rich. He must know what the fuck he's talking about. Act like a success. Think like a success. Discovering your gift and the way to life's riches. Jump. Take the leap of faith to achieve your life of abundance.
You're right. It really is just like, I'm a billionaire, so I must know about some shit. Here's how to keep a man, and here's how to become a billionaire like me.
Here's how to get super stinking fucking goddamn rich.
I always want to ask people that write those, like, hey, like, you know, like, I became a billionaire and so can you. It's like, at what point during your billionaire story did you read a shitty self-help book at any point? You know what I mean?
You know, this is the book that I wish I'd had at that time.
There you go, TJ.
See, all I have to do is become a billionaire, write a self-help book. Bam! I'm a billionaire again. He's also rubbing elbows with the Don.
Well, he lived in Trump Tower in fucking Chicago, so.
So Donald Trump meets Steve Harvey to discuss inner cities, because it's a subject they both know so much about at this point, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Themselves, and I told them, be yourselves and say what you want to say. Don't worry about me. And I'm going to do the right thing, whatever it is. I may be right, and they may be right. But I said, be yourselves. What do you say, Steve? Let them do it. I could have said, do this, say that. I don't want that. I want them all to...
Steve is like, what the fuck did he even fucking say?
He's like, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out if I should agree with that or not, but I don't really know what was said. I love his reactions, dude. This is why Steve Harvey is a meme.
He's got a face that can't hide his immediate reaction to whatever's around him. You know what I mean? And it's exaggerated to the point where it's just like unmistakable.
I want to see him again. Hold on.
Do it. I could have said do this, say that. I don't want that. I want them all.
That look of confusion, fear, bemusement. Like, he doesn't know what the fuck to even feel. And his face is showing it all.
In that moment, he captured an entire nation's trauma during the Trump presidency. And like, that's it. Like, say no more. That reaction, the like nervous chuckle ending in this, the existential dread of like, this man is, he's the president. That was it.
So classic. I'm not even going to show anymore. It doesn't even need it. Steve Harvey's most controversial moments, from his alleged staff rules to the infamous Miss Universe mishap and more.
What happened?
Steve Harvey made headlines this week after one of his alleged staff emails was published, in which he outlines a shocking set of restrictions for his employees. Just to name a few staff rules, the Steve Harvey Show host asks his employees to never enter his dressing room unless they're invited, approach him in the hallways whatsoever, or speak to him while getting his makeup done. All of this was put in place in order to make more free time for him throughout the day and end ambushing. The email certainly dropped jaws, but it should surprise no one. Really doesn't seem like that big of a deal to me.
I mean,
Like,
it's
he doesn't
pretty,
want to be.
it's actually
he doesn't want,
like
he doesn't want people in his face bothering him. Like, so what? I'm supposed to
It's-
like be like, oh, what a piece of shit that doesn't want to be constantly harangued and harassed by staff.
it's a reason why bosses at big companies and stuff have secretaries. That's like putting a filter between you and everybody's concerns and commentary. Because think about it, like, let's say that this wasn't a rule. Steve Harvey is walking around backstage prepping for things, and he takes one step and there's somebody there waiting to either say something to him that they think is important but isn't important to him at that moment, or beg a moment of his time for some task that they could get done some other way. He would get nothing fucking done if everybody at the play, if he had like an open door policy with his crew of 300 or whatever the fuck, it doesn't make sense.
So we all remember the Miss Universe thing where he announced the wrong winner.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. The other, somebody else won. My bad.
Whoopsie daisy. On atheists, Harvey joined Tyra Banks on her talk show several years ago and told her that no woman should date an atheist. A woman should not go out with a man who doesn't believe in God, he said at the time. During an interview on the Joy Behar show afterwards, he continued the conversation. If you're an atheist, you're basing your goodness on and morality on what? He asked, before adding, if you don't believe in God, well then, to me, you're an idiot. If you don't believe in God, I don't like talking to you. Oh no. Doesn't sound like you like talking to anybody though, so. Issues with his ex-wife. Who doesn't have issues with their ex-wife? Whatever. Infidelity. Another conversation with Joy Behar. Harvey put the blame on women as the reason men cheat. Why do men cheat? He asked. It's really because there are so many women out there willing to cheat with them. That's it.
I mean, I don't know if it's just because of that, but it does play a role.
I mean, sure. Like, especially if you're Steve Harvey and you're super rich.
Yeah.
Off-color jokes. Oh, dear God. Canceled. Canceled! January 2017, he was criticized for making a racist joke against Asian men. On the Steve Harvey Show, he revealed the 2002 book cover, How to Date a White Woman, a Practical Guide for Asian Men, to his audience for asking, excuse me, do you like Asian men? And answering, no, thank you. He continued saying, if the book was titled How to Date a Black Woman, a Practical Guide for Asian Men, it would be one page. You like Asian men? I don't even like Chinese food, he said. It don't stay with you no time. I don't eat what I can't pronounce. He later released a public apology. I don't eat what I can't pronounce, man. I don't fuck with that shit, man. On dating. Yeah. Political backlash.
All this shit just solidifies him as like one of America's dads. You know what I mean? Like, that's why he's so popular, because he is the off-color but generally benign, dad full of wisdom and salt of the earth anecdotes and shit. Like, he's everybody's dad. That's what he's going for with the mustache and the suit. and it's working. It's working on me, dude. My daddy issues are melting away during this episode, TJ.
Sexist remackers, dude.
Oh man, dude.
Sexist remackers. Good job, Entertainment News. You fucking nailed it. The talk show host answered another woman's question about her nagging husband on the Joy Behar show with a sexist response. Wow, her husband nags? That's new, he quipped. Maybe you need to check your husband's man card. Maybe he's not the rough and tough and tumble guy you thought you married. Men aren't supposed to nag, is what I'm saying. Oh, yeah.
I don't know how
Tell
that's
him, Steve.
sexist. That doesn't even come off as sexist.
He's a religious nut, which I guess is not surprising. You were sitting up there talking to this dude, and he tells you he's an atheist. You need to pack it up and go home. You talking to a person who don't believe in God? What's his moral barometer? Where's it at? It's nowhere. Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey is known for his open stance against atheism. He often confronts people over their atheist views on his various shows. Steve is very religious and has said on many occasions that it wasn't his family, friends, education, hard work, etc. that got him where he is today. It was God/Jesus. He once bragged that he has Joel Osteen on speed dial. Good for you, Steve.
So see, just like the built-in hypocrisy there. Here's a dude that believes, like, is a devout Christian, but somehow ignores everything Christianity has to say about hoarding wealth and accumulating material things because he lives in a literal fucking palace in the middle of nowhere. You know?
Well, you know. Blessed are the rich, for they shall live in palatial mansions away from the plebs. Here is Steve Harvey talking about how he would introduce Christ, I guess.
If I had the pleasure of bringing out Christ, this is just how I would do it. It ain't got to be the way you do it. You might not think it's just right, but this,
dude, it's the same bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's listen, this is my opinion. I'm going to say something now, and it doesn't mean you have to agree. You can do something differently, but I'm just going to go ahead and say what I would do. If I like, what do you mean introduce Christ?
I don't know.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
I would do it.
Like Christ is coming on your show? Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Jesus Christ.
It is my honor to introduce a man who needs no introduction. His credits are too long to list.
Yeah.
He has done the impossible time.
What the fuck is that hat? That hat was off the hook. The DJ's hat, or the organ player's hat, or whatever.
Time after time.
Where is he?
He hails out of a manger in Bethlehem, Jerusalem, by way of heaven.
Woo! Woo!
See, this is why I could never be religious, man, because I can't even imagine being worked up by this, and it just doesn't compute, man.
Does not compute.
This shit is
gibberish, meaningless garbage. Trite sentiments.
His mother is still headlining in the Catholic Church today. His daddy is the author of a book that has been on the bestseller list.
Wait, God is the author of the Bible?
This is a common Christian sentiment that
That's
the
fucking
Bible
retarded, bro.
The Bible is God's holy word delivered through the apostles and the people that wrote, the Old Testament and stuff. So they're all like prophets. God wrote through them. Every syllable is perfect. So God wrote it. Yeah.
Show me where a Canaan became a non-Canaan. Oh, yeah.
Since the beginning of time.
Dude, I need a backing piano player. Just need a dude playing the keyboards behind me when I talk.
I want a hype man.
Yeah.
One of those dudes that, like, you don't hardly see hype men no more, but you remember, like, that was the dude that would just go like, yeah, boy. You know what I mean? Like, in response,
Hell yeah, dude.
and then just
Where the
like
fuck
dance
is-
around a mean mug.
I need a fucking I need a keyboardist and a hype man. I can't
If
pay
you
anybody.
could
I
only
don't have enough
choose
money to pay
one.
you guys, but if I can only choose one, I think I'd take the keyboardist because he can do all kind of shit. The hype man, you know, he can only be
Well, they
like,
got, like,
yeah.
Keyboardist only has that
You
one
know?
vibe, though, man. It's all gonna be churchy type of stuff.
That's not true. They can fucking do all kind of shit. You can play like jingly Discord and shit. You can play sad shit.
Play like
up tempo shit.
the baby
know?
elephant walk when you come on stage and shit.
Yeah, you know, get a laugh out of that. Who fucking knows? Who the fuck are we? I don't know. What are you talking about? Oh, you saying you're the fucking chat's the hype man? Hey, chat ain't no damn hype man. If this chat was a hype man, they'd be like, hell yeah, bro. Oh man, that's so funny. Oh damn, dog. Destroy. You know, shit. You just be fucking constantly blowing smoke up our ass. Motherfuckers complain constantly. Half the time you talk about shit that ain't even have anything to do with goddamn what we're doing up here. Just like, man, you don't want to see the latest fucking SpongeBob or some shit? You know, I don't know. Fuck you. You ain't a damn World Star. Yeah, World Star. What else we got? Oh, yeah, here's him talking shit about atheists because that's pretty funny.
God, you sitting up here talking to a dude and he tells you he's an atheist, you need to pack it up and go home. You know, talking to a person who don't believe in God, what's his moral barometer? Where is it at? It's nowhere.
Speaking of God, you say in the book that you wouldn't go out with a woman. I guess a woman should not go out with a man who doesn't believe in God.
No, I mean, why would you?
Well, do you believe that only people who are religious are?
Do you understand at
No,
all
just
why
believe it.
Joy Behar is even a thing?
No.
She seems like somebody.
Is she still doing this?
She's
show?
she's on the View. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's still doing
Okay.
the View.
Okay.
But still,
know.
though, like even if she retired this year or last year or whatever the fuck, like the fact that she was ever a thing has always blown my mind. I'm like, where the fuck did she come from?
Yeah, I guess
Maybe I
she is
should
on
do
the
a
View.
Joy Behar show.
Yeah, where the fuck? What the fuck? Yeah, that is true.
Because
Like,
like,
came
what's
out of
the
the wild
appeal?
blue yonder, like one fucking second there was no Joy Behar or whatever, and then the next second it's like fucking gotta like listen to this Joy Behar bitch be talking all damn time. Fuck that shit.
Yeah, she was already old as fuck. It's like all of a sudden we get this person in the twilight of their life foist upon us as a celebrity. And they remain like that for like 10, 15, 20 years worth of Joy Behar. And it's like, how and why? And at whose behest did this happen?
Motherfucker.
Believe in God, then where's your moral barometer?
Her husband was a TV
just-
producer or
I
some shit.
understand you.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is. She blew her way to a fucking career or whatever. Got it.
Blew her way to the top.
If you're an atheist, you're basing your goodness and morality on what? I mean, but what is an atheist? I don't really get into that. You know, when I've talked to people all the time, I'm an atheist. I just walk away. I don't know what to say to you. You know,
Well, an atheist is someone who doesn't quite believe.
I'll just walk away.
Saves
right.
us a lot of fucking time. I guess.
Thanks. Yeah, good to know.
Because most
that there is
people like
somebody
you
out there, some
waste a
God
bunch
out
of time trying to
Well, then,
fucking
to me, you're an
preach
idiot.
morality at
Okay,
me that I'm
well,
not listening
And
to.
I'm just not,
That's
probably
fine.
not the right politically correct thing to
No.
say. But if you
Probably not the politically correct thing to say. No, it's just like, it's not really so much about political correctness. It's just like, you're really stupid. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a really dumb opinion. But hey, rock on. To me, you're an idiot. I know that's not the politically correct thing to say, but you know.
It's like saying nuh-uh and then refusing to listen to the other person's argument, basically. That's his whole stance on atheism. Like, real persuasive, bro.
Yeah, you got me. Ain't no round trip ticket to heaven. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I don't know
And
either.
man, you can't say you don't know, because you know I know you know. You can't say to another man, I don't know. I just ain't feeling it. What ain't you feeling?
I ain't seen no miracles. You know, I ain't seen no water turn to wine. I ain't been to heaven. I ain't been to hell. I don't know what it is.
You ain't been to heaven and you ain't been
I don't know about whoever been to it. I don't know about whoever been there and come back and tell me this is real.
That ain't how it worked.
Okay.
Part of the
That ain't
problem.
how it works, motherfucker. Let me tell you how it works. Listen up.
The
You
magic
just believe
universe.
that stupid shit for no goddamn reason.
The
Until
magic
you did.
unicorn is born out of an egg, you see, sir. So you are completely mistaken about the origins of the magic unicorn, okay?
Stupid motherfucking atheist, dumb bitch.
Problem, York, is you wasn't paying attention in Sunday school. See, it's some basics. See, you don't know nobody that have been to heaven or hell and come back, because it ain't a round trip.
Right.
All these one-way tickets.
All right.
You can punch a ticket to where the place you get to choose. You get to actually have a say-so in where you go. There ain't no round trip. Ain't nobody coming back and tell you, man, I was up there, man, the streets of gold, man, let me tell you.
There actually are a lot of people who claim that. I guess you're saying they're all liars, so that's cool.
Fucking shitty self-help books, too. So
I saw heaven. I saw hell. In
Heaven
hell,
is
the
for
demons
real.
beat you up and they piss fucking hot acid in your face and they kick you down the
Braying.
stairs.
Braying intensifies. Oh, shit.
Oh, you didn't pay no attention to Sunday school.
I was sitting over there. It was crazy, man, because I was just sitting up there under the tree, and Jesus came through the park, and so I was just sitting up. Ain't nobody got that story, dog. See,
Right, that's the point.
Yeah.
Isn't that the point? The point
That
is,
is-
yeah, nobody's got that fucking story. So what the fuck are we talking about?
Yeah, as far as I know, that was the point.
you waiting on the wrong thing. You looking for somebody that have been dead and come back, and you waiting on some water to get turned into wine and somebody to run across a lake.
Yeah, all things that the Bible said happen. All these things that you're saying as ridiculous things are things that supposedly happened. So
Right.
you're kind of undercutting. You're kind of slitting the throat of your own argument here. Oh man, it's ridiculous. You waiting for someone to turn water into wine like it says happened in my book? You waiting for someone to walk across water like it says happened in my book? That's absurd, bitch. What?
Yeah, see, the crazy thing you're doing is you're waiting for like evidence or whatever before you throw yourself behind an entire belief system. You know, I don't know what that's about, man. Ain't no evidence.
And all this dude got the fucking he got the most like lily-livered pussy atheist on the face of the earth that could just like sit there and smile and laugh.
Well, they wouldn't book anybody else.
Zero fucking pushback to this.
The whole
dumb
point
shit.
is for Steve to like, you know, run train on this poor fucking guy who's, you know, obviously not a funny dude.
Ain't none of that fitting to happen. Hey,
Yeah,
folks,
exactly. None of it ever happened. That's the fucking point.
Yeah,
Dipshit.
that is kind of the point.
Cue ball, motherfucker. All right. Ready to get motivated, Paul.
Oh shit.
Are you ready, Paul, to turn your life around? Now, you and I, you a cynical motherfucker, dude. You cynical, Paul.
I'm
You
ready.
cheated.
I'm ready to turn my life around.
You know, and I know you need this. So
and you want to be happy. Those are the two things.
hold up.
If you want to be successful
Yes.
and you want to be happy,
Yeah,
those are
probably.
the two things that's common to most people.
I would
You're
say,
looking
yeah.
at a person who was neither one of those for a long period in my life, man. There's a lot of pain in my life. No
Wow,
more
yeah.
than nobody else. I just had a lot.
Mhm.
But I learned along the way, everything that's happening to you is God is processing you.
Yeah.
Every difficult moment you're
Mhm.
having, he
Is
just
Steve Harvey just kind of like a preacher in disguise?
Yeah, he's kind of like an evangelist that doesn't have to have like the whole church ties thing. But yeah,
Yeah.
he's definitely he's running the same grift.
just processing you. That's all he's doing. Everything you're going through is preparing you for what you ask God for. And if you need to be tough when you get to where you're going, then he gonna toughen you. If you got to be more caring along the way, he gonna let you have some trials come your way that's gonna have to produce that in you. What happened in my life was getting where I've gotten to.
And if you born a harlequin, baby, that's just God saying, fuck you, bitch. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's
That's just
like,
God.
what?
That's just God testing you, DJ.
Oh, yeah.
Gave you a burden to bear as a harlequin ichthyosis, baby.
Hey, you know, as God, you know, putting you through your fucking, your trial, you know, just trying to get you where he needs you to be.
Today and where I'm even headed to, I had to be tough. So he toughened me along the way.
He
I had to
toughened
learn
you
how
so
to
that you could
appreciate
lay up in a
life.
big fucking mansion
Well, he took-
somewhere and
Yeah,
sell
you know.
people dreams for cash.
And
Wow.
fucking be like, don't talk to me while I'm putting my makeup on, bitch. He's tough. Tough as nails, damn it. So tough that when his belief systems are fundamentally challenged, all he can do is just walk away. Like, yeah, what a tough guy. Steve Harvey and Cat Williams should have a dumb off.
I didn't know Cat Williams was dumb.
Really understand the value of money.
I would say Cat Williams is more just
I had
crazy.
To just appreciate simple things. What I'm gonna eat today, where I'm gonna wash up at, where I'm gonna bathe. He sent me through a trial of being homeless for 3 years. I lived in a car for 3 years. All of that I was going through, that I was tripping with, that I did not appreciate or understand, I understand it now because I'm on the other side of them troubles. And I understand what all them troubles was for. And even though I did not understand or appreciate the route he took me on, it was the route I had to go on.
Man, must suck to be these dudes trying to like clean up the stage and shit while this motherfucker's just talking. Like, man, can you just like fuck off and let me do my job, please?
Think about
Like,
being in
isn't
this
it enough,
audience
like,
too.
Aren't you done? Like, haven't you bloviated enough for one fucking day? Can't I just fucking clean up the stage, please? We gotta fucking clear this shit out.
Probably
we got
does
another
this like
show shooting here in fucking 10 minutes.
probably does this shit like pre and post show. I love that his weird mustache is just up on the screen too, as part of his logo.
That's his symbol, the mustache.
See, the route you on right now is the route you got to take. And it's very uniquely yours. This thing you going through, this just uniquely yours. You just got to understand you ain't the only one. You ain't the only one going through it. Now, in the order that it's going to happen.
All right. Great. I mean, yeah, we know.
He's not even saying anything.
It's just like, you know, it's like one of his comedy set reiterations, but it just extended into like 3 minutes.
And there's no
without
punchline.
the comedy following it. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no punchline at the end of it. It's just a long anecdote affirming you a bunch of stuff that you already know. Like the stuff you're going through, that's your stuff to go through, but you're not alone. Somebody else going through something similar. It's like 2 minutes in, and that's basically what he said.
I was homeless once. Now I'm rich. That could happen to you also.
Yeah, you're just on the road. You're just on your part of the journey where you're broke, but eventually you'll be a billionaire like me.
Right, because that happens to everybody eventually. We all come around to being perfect beings that God has formed into great people. That's why you never see any pieces of shit that are like 40, 50, 60 years old, because by then God has worked out the kinks. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, what? That's not how anything works, Steve. All right, let's talk about this is where Steve really has made his money more than anywhere else, is television. He's a TV star. So Me and the Boys was an American sitcom that ran on ABC from September 20th, 1994 to February of 1995. Not very long lived.
No, I do remember it though. I remember more the like commercials leading up to it or whatever.
Yeah, he basically played a widower who runs a video store.
Yeah.
Alongside his sassy mother-in-law, Steve has quite a time raising 3 young black men. Hijinks around every corner. The show was canceled due to low ratings and was not able to compete with Full House, Home Improvement, The Nanny, Martin, Family Matters, Seinfeld, etc. So his sitcom flop. You know, here's a picture of the sitcom.
This is the cast here.
Now, here's a little taste for you.
Oh, no.
Gonna introduce me?
Please, Dad, no.
Well, I understand, son. I guess I kind of broke out those naked baby pictures a little early last time.
But I promise I'll update the new releases later.
Don't worry, I already took care of it. I also put up the new movie posters, and I also reorganized the horror section in order of scariness. Yeah.
Well, I hate this show. This is unwatchable.
I hate most sitcoms from
pretty
this
much
era,
garbage.
man.
Yeah, I mean,
they're all pretty bad.
I agree with you, but I think Full House actually might be worse than this. Full House might actually be the worst thing ever to be conceived by man. But
I don't know, dude. I liked Full House when I was a kid, like when I was like an actual like
nostalgia, maybe
8-9-year-old kid. So, but I wouldn't watch it now. It's made for kids. It's a kids show.
So then for his first failure, Steve, his next break was a show on the WB. The Steve Harvey Show was another sitcom, ran from 96 to 2002. So this one actually, it was enough of a hit to run for a number of seasons. Show revolved around Steve Hightower, a 1970s funk legend turned music teacher / vice principal at Booker T. Washington High School in Chicago. While the show never, while popular, the show never received critical acclaim outside of the African American community. More praise was thrown at Cedric the Entertainer's PE coach than Harvey. So I guess Cedric the Entertainer kind of stole the show.
No? Makes sense. He's a funnier dude.
Yeah, and he actually, unlike Steve Harvey, he's actually like able to, craft good material, which I think is important.
True.
Steve Harvey kind of relies on that whole facial expression thing, which has obviously gotten him pretty far. Cedric the Entertainer can actually, entertain.
It's right there in his name, man. What do you want?
Right, with the words and stuff. Actually says things that aren't fucking stupid Christian propaganda disguised as stand-up comedy. It's pretty cool. Here we go. This is one of those shows where the protagonist narrates the show.
Oh, I hate that.
How you doing? I'm Steve Hightower. I used to have my own group, Steve Hightower and the High Tops. Back in the day, we would have bombed, riding in limos, women jumping up all on the stage. So much money, we'd write a check and the bank would bounce.
Well, kill me now. Please kill me.
Ooh, the canned laughter just makes it all the worse too. That's how you know something's not really funny, when you get the like little mild chuckle. Like we can't put up uproarious laughter after this. It's not good enough.
Yeah, like even when you can control the laughter, it's like if we put a fucking big belly laugh here, people would be like, no, feels wrong, feels incorrect.
A couple of people guffawing in the audience will do.
Times changed and suddenly we were out. Yeah, it's been tough these past few years. I'm so broke, they cut off my refrigerator light.
I guess that one was worthy of
well, it's a scene
audience.
Transition, so it has to be forced to land. You know what I mean? You can't transition scenes on a. You gotta.
That's true. You can't just be like one person.
Excuse me. You gotta have the full guffaw. So, if you're gonna force the scene transition ones, you can't force the other ones. That's the trade-off.
Yeah, that's what you got to do, I guess. The refrigerator light goes out at the same time as all the others. Yeah, I know. It doesn't. I mean, and also it's like the refrigerator light goes out whenever you close the refrigerators. I don't even know. It's not even. I don't even get the joke. I don't even get what the fuck was being said. I guess like it. I don't know. It needed like about. I don't know how many hours of workshopping it would take to make that joke work, but maybe none. Maybe there's no amount. Just like start with a different joke. But of course, it's not really this shit that Steve Harvey got famous for. It was hosting game shows like Family Feud.
This is true calling here.
Yes. This is where Steve Harvey found his true niche, found the place where he was really supposed to be. So Family Feud is a game show, been around since the dawn of fucking time. Caveman played this fucking game show, okay?
It's ancient, yeah.
Two families compete to name the most popular answers to survey questions in order to win cash prizes. So before Steve Harvey joined the show as its host in 2010, Family Feud was near cancellation. So they were like pretty close to just being like, this ain't flying anymore, you know? Like people don't fucking give a shit about Family Feud. So like they brought Steve Harvey in to basically see like, can he resuscitate this corpse? And he did, with his over-the-top facial expressions and, quote, understanding of what people at home want, according to Fox News, led to Family Feud being regularly ranked among the top 10 highest-rated daytime television programs. If someone said an answer that was so ridiculous, I knew the people at home behind the camera had to be going, what did they just say? They gave this answer that doesn't have a shot in hell of being up there. The fact that I recognize that's comedic genius to me. I think that's what made the difference, Steve Harvey. Yeah, so basically just like if he knows something stupid, he's going to fucking show you with his face like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
And people relate to that, and people go like, oh man, that's a dumb fuck answer. And then they look to Steve Harvey, their host, and they see that he also knows that's a dumb fuck answer. And they feel a fucking sense of like, yeah, his face looks like my feelings. I like him. He's a good host, you know? That's as simple as that. There's no fucking rocket science to it. Steve was so successful at hosting Family Feud that the production of the show at Universal Studios Orlando was moved to Atlanta, Georgia in order to be closer to Steve's home. Steve Harvey still hosts Family Feud to this day. So let's take a look.
Got some feud clips.
A little feud clip here.
Pam, name something you might hurt yourself riding on.
Oh, Lord. You know what I'm thinking? So you might well just say it. You know what I'm thinking? A penis.
He looks like he's like wishing that he could teleport away from
I know, right?
stage.
And it's just like he know, like even when Jesus says, you know, like it's just like immediately it starts, you know.
Yeah.
It's like no,
you know what I'm
he looks like
thinking?
he's sucking on the sourest gusher.
Dude, that's got to be the number one answer right there. Yeah, the whole question is skewed towards this type of answer. You know what I mean? Like, they're always
they're trying to set you up. You know,
floating these weak innuendos. You know, so that people have the ability to give answers like this. It's a little bit racy and risque and fun.
I need your support.
Like she said,
I need your support still.
I cannot support you. Why are your answers like that? It's not.
They honest.
They honest, but see, now everybody. This is not a good answer. You think it's a good Shut up, nasty ass audience.
Yeah, see, he's like he's offended.
He's hamming it up. It's great.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like this is where he shines. I don't sit around watching this shit, but like I see clips and shit.
Yeah, I'll watch
like,
compilations.
It's memeable as fuck, and like you see those like especially those Vic Berger ones that really accentuate these fucking over the top reactions he does and shit. Yeah, that's some funny shit. Steve Harvey has had 3 daytime talk shows. Basically, have all had the same format. He goes out, he tells jokes, he helps people solve problems, and he preaches the gospel. So he had Steve Harvey, which ran from September 4th, 2012 to July 13th, 2017. Then he changed it to Steve, which ran from September 5th to June 26th of 2019. Sorry, September 5th of 2017 and to June 26th of 2019. Then Steve on Watch premiered on January 6th, 2020 and is still in production.
Wow. Yeah, I can't imagine watching the Steve Harvey talk show ever unless, it's a Vic Berger treatment. Because,
yeah.
How to date a white woman, a practical.
Well, this is just the Asian. We already read about that, so. So Rob Schneider and his wife Patricia put their marriage to the test. So this is Steve Harvey and Rob Schneider and Rob Schneider's wife in one place at one time, all together. I figure this has got to be some kind of fucking endurance test, right?
This is pretty tough.
What does Rob own that you would love to get rid of?
Oh my God, can I have a bigger board? I picked one only.
One?
Yeah, because I'm being nice.
Okay, I said everything.
Oh.
Memorabilia.
All
Okay, what'd you say?
No, I picked one. There's this Tibetan chest kind of thing. I don't know. I don't even know what it is in the bathroom.
Yes.
He looks honestly like taken aback and offended that she doesn't like the Tibetan chest and the shitter.
The fuck
Like,
is wrong with you, bitch?
Yes,
the fuck is wrong with you?
That's tasteful ancient Tibetan art.
Tibetan chest. That is a fucking masterpiece, you cunt.
I want to get rid of that.
Okay. All right.
Well, it's gone.
It's gone.
Something
He's
tells
got
me
his
it's
little
not.
mustache logo. Where is it? Yeah.
Yeah, see it?
Okay, that's easy.
This is where marriages start to fall apart. A woman's worst
got it.
habit.
She's always right.
Yeah, but she seems like she's wrong at the time, but then she looks it up, and I go like, oh no, she's right.
Yeah.
I'm always right. He's very stubborn. I thought that you were going to say leave stuff out.
Oh, yeah.
Given his status as an anti-vaxxer, his wife needs to look up a few more things and prove him wrong.
That's true. She's just like, hey, also his like anti-vaccine positions are pretty fucking crazy in my opinion, and also the opinion of, science and shit. But of course, this isn't enough for Steve Harvey.
This isn't the bottom of the barrel?
No, dude. How about Judge Steve Harvey?
This had to happen, man. This is
it was bound to happen. There was no way it wasn't going to happen. You knew eventually Judge Steve Harvey was going to happen,
He's perfect for this. So, I don't know. Is this show already on?
I don't know. Let's find out. Judge Steve Harvey is a court show. Yeah, it aired on January 4th, 2022. While Steve Harvey has never held any judgeship, legal license, has no legal jurisdiction in any country on earth, his rulings are based on, quote, his life experiences and good old common sense. I knew I had to just be myself. Most judges are interested in the law. These are the facts, and that's it. I'm going to dig up the story behind why people came to the court versus what they're in court for. I lean on decades of experience dealing with all types of situations and people, and I rely on my street savvy, common sense, and humor to get it done. No person that goes on the show is actually responsible for paying any judgment, and none of his rulings are legally binding. So there you go. Just basically a phony baloney Steve Harvey court show. Here is an example of what goes on.
Communicating via Instagram inbox.
Oh, you slid in his DM. The whole truth.
I plead the fifth.
Oh, you can't plead the fifth after you told the story. And nothing but the truth. Let me give you my thoughts on this. You crazy.
Since when is that a crime?
I got a feeling I'm about to hear a whole lot of nonsense, though.
Don't you see how fast?
And you spew a lot, so why not? I love how he's got like a golden gavel too,
Well, yeah, he's got to have something that makes him stand out from the other judges, other than the mustache. Because Judge Joe Brown already has the mustache on lock. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So he had to have this. I guess the gavel's not quite gold. It just kind of has like a golden look.
Yeah, it's like bronze or whatever.
I object. You can't object because you're not a lawyer.
Papa's got a brand new bag.
You can't judge because you're not a judge.
I can't judge because I'm not a judge. I just go on my life experience and all my years of dealing with people and such. Like,
Steve Harvey on the Supreme Court, please. How about no?
That's
How about we've got plenty of crazy fucking conservative Christians on the Supreme Court.
Well, if Trump wins in 2024, I'm sure he'll appoint Steve Harvey to the court. So don't you worry.
But Steve
Surprised
Harvey
he didn't
for
do it the first time.
Steve Harvey for TV judge, I can get behind that. Like, I haven't seen this show, I didn't know it existed, but I'm gonna check it out. I'm sure it's tip-top quality, hilarious throughout.
Let's
Doesn't
see if
get
this
old at
show is
all.
still going.
Please say it is.
I know at least 12 episodes have happened. Let's see. Is it still running? It was renewed. So yeah,
Sick.
in April of 2022, it was renewed for a second season. So you will get more Judge Steve Harvey. How the fuck much money does this guy have? I know he has a lot.
That article you said before said he's worth an estimated $1 billion.
That was Tyler Perry because they kind of like bunched them together for
Oh,
some
it
reason.
was? Oh, okay. Well, he's got to be worth like in the hundreds of millions to have the multiple estates that we looked at. Like that shit don't come
and I mean,
cheap.
he's like so many TV shows and shit. So I'm looking at a few. So I'm looking at one. It looks like a lot of them are saying he's worth 200 million, but then it says his salary is 45 million. So I feel like if his salary, all right, here's Forbes. That's probably more reliable than these like celebritynetworth.com. They say 280 million. And that was updated on May 29th. So he's basically like, he's not quite a billionaire. I mean, he's like, but he's more than a quarter of the way there. And he might make it eventually, if this if these Steve Harvey judge shit pays, because I know fucking that was what made Judge Judy a fucking billionaire, or pretty goddamn close to it. And he's already got a pretty fucking good head start there. But anyway, Steve Harvey, I don't know. I can't completely hate the fucking guy, despite the fact that he's a moron and he's like a kind of religious huckster. Just because, like, I don't know, he's got that face. He's never gonna not have that face.
I think that's like the gift that he has, is that he can have all these like reprehensible opinions, because he's probably got, especially when it comes to like religion and shit, he's probably got a lot of similar opinions to people that we just outright hate, Tucker Carlson and fucking Ben Shapiro and shit. But for some reason, it goes down smooth when it's coming from Steve.
You know what it is? I think it's because he's kind of like earnest in a way that they're not the character, but like the adjective. Like he's
that dad thing that I was talking about.
He kind of feels like, my Steve. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like
it's like, he's
got that vibe of like, he's just like a, every man sitting on his couch, fucking talking weird shit, like, man, goddamn, whatever this, blah 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 blah,
Yeah, Dad's
like
always
it's more like emotional grunting than it is like reasoned thoughts about fucking complex topics or something,
Dad's always got a story to tell, and like, he's a little backwards in some ways, but what are you gonna do, man? He's from a different time, You gotta.
He's a pretty nice guy, honestly. He's fucking funny as fuck.
Yeah, for some reason he gets that pass for sure.
He's Mr. Potato Head, essentially. I don't know about that, but
he does look like his features could be rearranged and removed.
Yeah, that was really I mean, like, especially if you look at that picture we started with.
Yeah.
They should put out a Mr. Steve Harvey, Mr. Potato Head, where you can like.
I think that would be decried as racist, probably. I don't know why. I don't know why, but I have a feeling that would be decried as racist.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's not like some historical connotation of black people and potatoes, so.
I guess not.
Let me see. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
Yeah, maybe there is. I don't know, man. You better check.
Black people, potatoes, racist. Potato statue to be removed after complaints of racism. What? A 6-foot Mr. Potato Head statue, one of dozens dotting Rhode Island as part of a tourism campaign, will taken down because of complaints that the grinning brown-skinned figure appeared Well, I'm all right. Never mind. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Abort. Abort. Pull up.
Immediately.
Oh, God. That was in 2000 before fucking everything got so fucking woke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bunch of woke bullshit, man. All this woke mob trying to cancel everything, man.
The only kind of woke that I know is that Jesus woke up from his grave. Yes, he did. I testify to that. He woke up. That's my woke. I'm woke like Jesus woke from his grave. Man, fucking preachers have the easiest job in the world. I genuinely believe that, man. You just gotta like literally spin an emotionally manipulative yarn twice a week, you know? That's your job.
Yeah, just go out there and fucking say whatever the fuck bullshit you want, but throw a few Bible verses in it.
Right.
Reference Jesus a couple times. Fucking yell and scream. People be like, wow, what a moving sermon. You know, and if you had just been, if you'd done the exact same speech on the street corner, people would be like, what a fucking raving lunatic. Get yourself a nice building, get yourself some organ music, you know, stand at the pulpit, get that echo going, you know, people all of a sudden like, wow, what a stirring oratory.
Yeah, it legitimizes it all.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm not exactly sure how it happened, but a little more than a month ago, I was scrolling through YouTube. It was probably just a guess by the algorithm. I was scrolling through my YouTube, and this sumo video pops up. I'd seen like sumo matches before and stuff, but I never really thought about it much. And from that one video, for about a month now, I've been kind of obsessively watching sumo. Like at least like every day, I kind of try and keep up with what's going on. There's a number of channels I follow and stuff, and I'm trying to learn a little bit about the sport because I don't know, it's way more brutal than I would have thought. At the beginning here, like going into this, before I started watching sumo and learning a little bit about it, all I knew. Well, what do you know about sumo, TJ? Just from.
Okay, so I don't know a whole lot. I know obviously that they, you know, sumos. I know not all sumos are fat guys, but a lot of them are.
Yeah.
I know that they condition their bodies to be very strong, very powerful. I know that the main objective of sumo matches is to push your opponent outside of the ring.
Mm-hmm.
I know that most sumo matches are, you know, don't tend to last very long. They tend to be pretty quick.
They're under a minute.
Usually if you watch them, you know, it's like a rapid fire of guys that'll come out and they'll do a quick match. And
yep.
Sometimes you see them get thrown into the crowd and stuff. That's kind of entertaining.
It can be pretty brutal. Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, there's a lot of, I know that I've watched a few things about sumo diets and stuff. I know they're not all the same, but they tend to just be, I mean, like they're a lot. It's like a fucking metric fuck ton of rice a lot of times.
Yeah, we'll go over their diet and
I know they do like some ritual stuff, and you know, there's like a traditional way to fold their little weird diaper thong that they do, and
yep.
You know, I know they like have there's like a lot of ritual and pomp and circumstance and like things they do and stances that have like deeper meanings and shit, but I don't really know specifically the stuff they mean or anything.
One of the things that, like, when I started to learn a little bit about sumo wrestling and the history of it, that really attracted me to it, is that it's like a time capsule among sports. So there are a lot of ancient sports still being played today, especially on like the Olympic stage. You'll see a lot of sports that are, you know, discus and javelin and stuff that have been around.
Stuff that you're not, stuff you don't typically like turn on, like, oh man, you know. It's Sunday. It's javelin season. You know, you guys want to fucking check out some javelin matches or whatever the fuck. You know, like, yeah, we don't do that. It's like kind of a special, like, oh, break it out for, you know, the Summer Olympics or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. But you know, as I started to learn about it, I learned that it's incredibly ancient. Like it's over 2,000 years old if you trace its lineage all the way back.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking old.
And it, you know, as a sport, it really hasn't changed much. So if you watch a sumo match today, from the way that the judges dress to the way that the sumos present themselves, to the way that they wrestle, to the rules by which they wrestle, and we'll talk about all this stuff. That stuff is like, it hasn't changed in the way that like modern interpretations of like ancient sports have. So even though discus is fundamentally the same thing, people dress differently, they use a different disc, You know what I mean? It's changed. The like rules have changed to
Right. And a lot of sports have changed very dramatically just in the time that exists, like baseball, you know, that's
basketball, right?
You can trace the origins of baseball back pretty far, but you know,
basketball I think is the oldest. Like you can trace that all the way back to like the Aztecs and shit.
Right. But you know, it's changed dramatically, like, you know, how it's played, how many people, what kind of court, you know, all kinds of things have changed about a lot of these sports.
With a few little exceptions, sumo remains the same thing that it was back then. And that's fascinating to me because once I started watching it, and I'm not claiming to be no expert, I'm doing this episode is very informational.
Well, you said you started watching a month ago. I don't think anyone's expecting, like, you know, Paul knows all there is to know about the world of sumo, you know?
No, but the more I watch it, the more I become able to notice little nuances in the wrestlers and their stance, and the more I come to appreciate the ritual that is involved here. So at first glance, sumo is nothing if not bizarre. It's overweight men dressed in an enormous thong pushing each other inside a small ring where the pre-ceremony is usually longer than the actual fight. That usually is, it's almost always. There's like 4 or 5 minutes of ritual before every match. We'll go through what it is. But the matches themselves typically last less than a minute. So, and it's, you know, one fall too. There's not like a best of 3 or anything in sumo.
Yeah,
it's like
once you're out, once one motherfucker throws the other motherfucker out the ring, it's done.
It's over.
Over.
That's it. You take the L, he takes the W, and you move on. So sumo is said to have its roots in Shinto, the kind of indigenous religion of Japan. It was a ritual dance when it started to appease the gods, I guess.
Cool.
They would have these really powerful, strong, like warriors do these kind of special dances and stuff, like you know, body movements that were designed to ward away bad spirits and ensure a good harvest. So their bulk is kind of connected to that as well. A lot of people will say, like, the fact that famine has, you know, there's been a lot of horrible famine in human history, Japanese history, particularly.
Yeah, sure they're no exception.
And so the idea that they were big and well fed, and you know, that was seen as like something that they should thank the gods for, and that they were uniquely kind of like prepared to do that. It was a very religious kind of spiritual ritual. When exactly it became a wrestling match, nobody knows. It may have been one directly from the start, like it may have just started with some clashes between these big guys, or it may have started as like just more of a lot of people think it started more as a dance that evolved into a sport. And for a long time in its early existence, during Japan's Nara and Heian periods,
kind of started as moshing.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, I push you, you push me. Eventually it kind of became like who could push harder.
Right. So from around 710 to 1192 AD, sumo bouts were like exclusively for the emperor and his retinue. Like if you were a dignitary or the emperor himself, these were things that you and only you got to see. And it was actually samurai that occupied the ranks of early sumo. It was like a side hustle for them. So samurai would need a way to fill the gaps in their pockets in between, you know, whatever samurai shit they were doing. And having a wrestling match in front of a bunch of rich people was a great way to do that.
Yeah, show off your strength. Plus, it's probably like good for like if someone sees you win a bunch of these fucking matches, they're probably like, "Ooh, he's strong. I want him to fucking do a job for me or whatever the fuck," you know?
Yeah. And so that's one of the reasons why sumo still wear this hairstyle that you see here in this ancient Japanese painting or carving or whatever this is. They still like very, very much, most of them still wear this very peculiar hairstyle. It was a samurai hairstyle. So, and it's still worn today as kind of like in reverence for the past of sumo, which goes way, way back. it wasn't until about 1603, during the Edo period, or Edo, sumo became regulated. Tournaments started to be held to fund shrines and temples. And in the process, the sports audience transitioned from the elite to the masses. It commercialized the sport and created the very idea of a professional sumo wrestler. So before this period, it was, like I said, a side hustle for people that were doing other things. And then it was codified as a sport. And all of a sudden you see this rise in people at the top ranks of sumo holding their own and doing just that for a living.
Yeah. So, I mean, like at this, at this point in 1603, when it starts to make this transition, it's like, it goes from being this like elitist thing to being this like, for the masses thing. They're using it to raise money to build their temples and build their shrines. So it's kind of like almost got like a community aspect to it as well. Like this is going to do something good for the community. So you see kind of a lot of this same kind of thing with sport today where, it's kind of like has like, I think because a lot of especially in America where we spend a lot of money on sports, it kind of almost has to have this sense of like, well, they give back to the community though, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. So today, many of these traditions that were established are still preserved. Wrestlers still clap their hands to attract the attention of the gods. They toss sacred salt into the ring. We'll take a look at all of this stuff. They stomp their feet to drive evil spirits away from the ring. There's this whole...
See, I always thought that was just like a pure intimidation tactic. I knew they did all that shit. I seen like the whole clap, the salt, and the stomps, but I always thought it was like, I thought the stomping was just kind of like to show your opponent like, yeah, look at me, motherfucker. I can stomp like a goddamn elephant. I'm going to fucking run you over.
There is a lot of intimidation in sumo, and certainly the stomp, while, its spiritual significance is to chase away evil spirits. The other dude, he might.
Yeah, you're obviously kind of doing it. You're trying to show the other guy, look at my stomp, bitch. You know what I mean? Like, by the way, my favorite person in this picture is this guy that you can barely see right here with his white beard.
Oh yeah, dude, he looks like Pai Mei.
Yeah, the cruel tutelage of Pai Mei.
So sumo wrestlers are known as Rikishi. In fact, Rikishi here obviously took his name from that.
Dude, I saw one of the first fucking televised Rikishi matches. I didn't see it in public, but I saw remember how they used to have this show? They used to have a show called Sunday Night Heat, which was like their worst fucking show where they put all the garbage matches.
Yeah, the throwaway matches and the who cares about it wrestlers that hadn't been over.
And it was like people. It was basically like people that either were fucking on the way out, that were barely hanging on by a thread, or people who had just been introduced and had to work their way up. And I remember I saw they fucking showed Rikishi's first match on there. And the second I saw him do the fucking the stink face or whatever the fuck it's called, I'm like, that dude's gonna get over.
He's gonna be a star. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like a couple weeks later that people fucking were eating it up, and he had a big old giant ass.
So he was one of two sumo characters, and they both did the stink face, by the way.
Yeah.
There was Rikishi, and then I don't think I pulled a picture of him, but there's Yokozuna. I didn't want to really go into them because neither one of them was sumo wrestler.
Right. They're just fat guys that, kind of like I can lean into this, gimmick.
I always thought that Yokozuna had come from the sumo world or whatever, but that was just that was his storyline being sold. He never wrestled an actual match of sumo in his life. He was not a sumo wrestler, and neither was Rikishi.
Yeah.
But they did take some of these words that pop up. Rikishi, the kanji for Rikishi means strength and warrior, so basically like strong warrior. And there's somewhere around 650 to 700 Rikishi in the 6 divisions of sumo. Sumo, we'll talk a little bit about it here in a minute. Sumo has probably what I would consider to be one of the most brutal ranking systems.
I do remember seeing something about that, like in a Vice thing or something.
Yeah, I mean the ranking system in sumo, especially if you aspire to be, at the top level of sumo, is crazy. It's just an insane gauntlet of hungry ass motherfuckers that want your money. Basically.
Yeah, I remember there was a dude I was watching. I think it was Vice, but I could be mistaken about where exactly I saw it. But it was like a black dude who was trying to make it in the world of sumo, and he was just saying like, it's already really hard, but it's like he's got this racial component that also kind of worked against him to an extent. I think it kind of worked for him for an extent too. Like it was kind of a give and take kind of thing. I think.
Yeah,
I think there was like people who appreciated it from a novelty perspective, but then there was other people. But that's when you're a novelty, it's kind of hard to be taken seriously. And then there's other people who are like, this is, a violation of our sacred traditions and all that, and whatever, because like there's a strong streak of conservatism that runs through the Japanese character,
and definitely through sumo as well. We'll kind of cover that as we go.
Gotcha.
So the 42 best sumo wrestlers, Rikishi in Japan, they naturally receive the most media attention. They're called the Makuuchi.
Right. And I imagine that this is, I mean, like as populations go up, and I guess in Japan, the population is kind of going down. So it's maybe not a problem anymore, but like you figure, I mean, the population was definitely much lower when this sport started. So being in the top 42, years ago is probably a lot easier than being in the top 42 now. Not to say
absolutely,
it was easy,
yeah.
but
at the top of the pile of wrestlers sits the Yokozuna, who's the grand champion of sumo.
Right.
This position is typically achieved by winning 2 Hanbasho, which are major tournaments that determine rankings in a row. So you have to win 2 tournaments in a row, basically, which may not sound like much, but it's a feat that in all the history of sumo, especially the recorded history of sumo, there's only been 71 Yokozuna.
Right. I mean, well, when you got a tournament with multiple dudes, and I'm assuming it's probably single elimination, and it's so the match is so easy to lose. I mean, like it's very easy to lose a sumo match, even if you're the superior guy, because you don't get to have a second chance. It's not best out of 3. There's nothing to control for that. It's just like if you fucking lose,
right,
you get pushed out of that ring, you're out, you're gone,
and your
you're
stats are everything. Your stats are 100% everything in this, as we'll see here. But if you are one of these 42 best Rikishi, there are 6 of these big tournaments a year, basically every odd month in Japan. So January, March, May, you know what I mean? Like all the fucking odd numbered months have a major tournament. And if you're one of these 42 best, you have to fight every day of the 15-day tournament.
Yeah.
So sometimes you'll be fighting people that are close to your own rank, but a lot of the times you'll be fighting people from the lower divisions that are trying desperately to win your rank away from you.
And they're hungry.
And they're hungry as fuck because they're getting paid basically nothing, but at the top rungs, you get paid a fuck ton of money. Nice comfy salary and the whole 9. So it's a lot on the line for these dudes. There's no kind of like baseline like there seems to be with a lot of other professional sports. Like a football team goes on a losing streak. None of those dudes lose their fucking signing bonus or whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they get to keep their money. Not so much with sumo wrestlers. If you start to suck and start to drag ass, you're going to go down in rank, which means you're going to get a cut in salary. Them's the breaks for you. Doesn't matter how high you went unless you achieve Yokozuna. At that point, your check is written because Yokozuna, as we will learn,
right.
Basically,
basically, like even if you fucking start to suck, you just have legend status because you've achieved like the highest pinnacle of the sport.
Right.
And we'll just be like, well, he's old now, but he's a Yokozuna, so fucking whatever.
So let's talk about some of the rules of sumo.
All right.
So it takes place in a clay ring called a dohyo. And these matches are contested between 2 wrestlers, with the first to knock down or push out the opponent winning. So basically, the rule is not only knock them out, you can go for the knockout, of course, knockout of the ring, but any part of their body that isn't their feet touches the ground, they've lost.
So like even if they fucking come down to like a knee or something.
Yep, they come down to a knee, it's over. They fall over, it's over. Obviously, there's no getting back up. It's one fall, pushed out of the ring or slammed in the ring somehow. Is how every fight ends.
Wow.
Very
unforgiving.
Yeah, super unforgiving. And you can imagine like the nerves of steel that it must take building up to one of these matches, because you got all this ritual to go through, and the whole day you're gonna have one fight, and you need that fight to keep your stats high. And just it builds and builds and builds to this one big explosive moment, basically. And in less than 30, 45 seconds, in most cases, it's over.
And now that you're talking about this and just and I'm looking at these guys, I'm just kind of like marveling at the fact that I've never noticed before just how fucking muscular sumo wrestler legs are. I guess it's because there's a lot of fat on there too, but like you could tell that these guys have some powerful fucking legs. I mean, so much of their sport relies on that. Like, not only are they trying to stay on their feet at all costs, but they have to be able to fucking, push another man who is just as big as they are in most instances, out of this ring or onto the ground. So like, this is a very like leg intensive sport. These guys probably do not skip leg day.
No, these guys are intensely strong. There are some sumo that are stronger than others and more built than others, but all of them, especially at the top levels, are exceptionally strong individuals. Don't let the fatness fool you. These dudes hit like a dump truck. There's this clash at the beginning of every sumo match.
Yeah,
where
it's explosive. You watch
between two big wrestlers, 2 tons of force can be generated in this clash.
Now, I have seen some guys that are smaller go up against these bigger guys because there's not really like weight divisions really, as far as I can tell. Or if there is, maybe I'm sure you probably get into it. But like,
yeah,
I've definitely seen matches where like a little guy will be up against a huge guy, and you'll kind of see them take a different tact.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
they'll kind of be more like a little spider monkey that's trying to use leverage and shit like that. But yeah.
We'll take a look at it. I pulled a couple of them. There's been some that, like, typically when you talk about the huge swings in weight, which can happen because, as TJ said, there's no weight class in sumo. It's usually a squash match. Usually the big guy wins pretty easily and handily. But every once in a while, you'll get a wrestler that is not known for being huge, that's more known for being technical in the ring, and has learned how to manipulate these big guys.
I definitely have seen it. I don't know who exactly I saw, but I saw a pretty fucking tiny dude, at least compared to the dude who's fighting, that kind of just used like leverage and evasion to sort of like knock the other dude off balance. And it was a pretty fucking interesting thing to see because I'd never really seen that before.
So before these guys can even clash, there's this pre-match ceremony that we've talked about and a bunch of pageantry as well. And to me, I find this ceremony part of why it's so fascinating. Like, as I started watching these matches chopped up on YouTube, and they're real easy to find. It's easy to follow along with sumo on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that's great too is it's kind of like instantly processable. You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
You watch a couple matches, you pretty much get the gist of what's going on.
Yeah, but there's tons to learn about it as well. Like it's a very complex sport despite its seeming simplicity.
Okay, I'm looking forward to that.
At the beginning, the day before each major tourney, the 4.5 meter diameter clay platform housing the ring in which the bout takes place is cleansed to pray for the safety of the Rikishi that will wrestle. This involves placing salt, cleansed rice, dried chestnut, dried kelp, dried cuttlefish, and nutmeg berry. And then they bury it in a tiny hole made in the middle of the ring as an offering to the gods to protect the sumo. When they step into the ring to face each other, they always come in from both east and west. So one of them comes in from the east, one comes in from the west. The east side Rikishi enters first. And then they enter the ring and perform a ritual called the Shiko. And this is, a lot of people associate this with sumo. The stomping and hand gestures that happen during this portion are pretty well known and documented. They are fascinating to watch, and it's a good idea. It's a good way to see the athletic prowess of some of these big dudes, because despite their size. This maybe isn't like a really extreme example, but some of these dudes will look just like this, and that leg will be like, they're so fucking flexible. It's insane.
Right. I mean, like, and to think about the weight, like the power of your leg to just be able to take a stomp from that high with that much weight on your top section coming down on it. Like it's you know, I mean, like I'll fucking do like running on a treadmill and shit. And, you know, I have to be very careful about how much I run on that fucking treadmill because, you know, it'd be very easy if I fucking stomp too much as I'm like jogging or something to fucking fuck up a knee or something like that, which I've done a few times. Never badly, but like still, like I can't imagine doing something where I'm routinely lifting my leg way up in the air and then smashing it down into the fucking ground as hard as I can to intimidate someone else. You know what I mean?
A lot of these guys training is all about counteracting injury.
Right.
And so a lot of these guys, you know, there's some horrible injuries in sumo, as you can imagine. This much force
you're talking
being
about
exerted.
such giant dudes.
Because you're talking about like one leg holding up
each other, you know.
You're talking about one leg holding up just this guy and how flexible he has to be and how strong that leg and joint need to be just to do this ritual part. Now think about doing something like this, but adding the weight of another dude equivalent to your size pushing on you.
Well, I mean, you got to do that. I mean, I'm looking at this dude here. He's like, I don't know what his height is. I'm assuming
he's probably
not
around 300
super tall,
pounds,
but he's probably around 300 pounds, right? And you know, he's going to have another guy that's 300 pounds that is strong as hell, pushing against him as hard as he can. They're going to be pushing against each other as hard as they can. I mean, like the amount of strain and pressure that's happening in that fucking exchange has got to be like astronomical.
Well, as I said, when these dudes clash off the line, and they're very close to each other when they start a sumo match, we'll take a look at it. They've measured it, and there can be 2 tons of force created when these two dudes.
I mean, it does not surprise me. I mean, like you look at the nature of the sport they're doing, and the fact that they spend so much of their time, like, I mean, any athlete is going to try their best to get in the peak physical condition for their particular sport. And if your sport is, I have to push a 300+ pound person out of a ring or onto his fucking ass before he can do the same to me, another 300 pound person, you know, I mean, it's like, of course, there's the amount of fucking like the forces involved there are just like mind-boggling.
Pretty intense. And it's one of the reasons why I like watching it. It's just kind of like awe-inspiring to watch guys that are, and I think a lot of it comes from the fact that I've been fat my whole life. And I know, TJ, you're
right. I mean, I think there's like a certain
you've been fat
of like, oh wow, fat but tough, you know.
I mean, we'll watch some videos here and you'll see some big dudes. Like we'll get to it. We're almost there. So anyway, they'll do this stomping ritual. Like I said, the stomps are to chase away evil spirits out of the ring. They will also hold their hands open palm to the sky. You've seen them kind of do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a holdover to show everybody in the audience and the judges that they carry no weapons.
I remember that. I did hear that before. That's interesting.
Right.
Like to show, like, I'm not gonna.
Just a fairness thing. So nobody claimed that somebody was holding a knuckle duster or something in one of their hands.
Someone in the chat asked what the sumo wrestler lifespan was, and I was curious. I went and looked it up. It says that they typically live between 60 and 65, which is about 20 years shorter than the average lifespan of a Japanese man.
Yeah, it would make sense.
So yeah, they do sacrifice some lifespan, as a lot of professional athletes do, though. Like football players, professional wrestlers, a lot of these very physical sports do wear your body down.
Yeah, it's hardly alone in its kind of shortening of the lifespan of people that practice, especially at the top end of it.
Mm-hmm.
So once they finished this kind of ritual dance in the ring together, across from one another, but they both leave the circle again and they have to cleanse themselves. There's a ritual called Chikara Mizu. It literally translates to strength water. And each Rikishi is served this water with an attendant being the person that they last defeated.
Wow.
So it's like if you get defeated by somebody, you've got to come to this other guy's cleansing ritual and you've got to, take part in the ritual of serving in this sip of special blessed water. They're not allowed to drink. They have to spit it out. It's just to rinse and cleanse their mouths. And so you'll see them take a sip of this and then spit it out.
We have a moment of that, I believe.
Yeah, you can see the beginning here. This kind of shows the ritual as they enter. And then they're going to do the Shiko here. And you can see how high these legs come up and the immense amount of strength and poise that it takes and balance. Like balance,
the balance
is
is
super important.
crazy.
And
I can tell you, like, I've been working on balance exercises, and if you're a fat guy like that, it's not easy.
Yep. And they're taking their little sip of water. Now they grab some salt, and this is to purify the ring. They will throw the salt into the ring before they enter. And I guess we can watch this whole match.
I don't really
we may
see
as
why
well
not.
watch a match of sumo.
Yeah, I mean,
So
we're
here's
seeing the
more
ritual here.
more of the Shiko, and then you've got this part of the ritual where they're kind of like sponsors parade these flags with their accomplishments are on these flags, so you know what the rank of each of these fighters is and what's at stake and yada yada yada.
Doing some more salt.
Yep. And this is really all part of what you were talking about earlier, that intimidation factor. The way that you throw the salt is very indicative. These belly slaps that you see them doing are meant to once again show that they have no weapons. And then there's this kind of face-off period. And this is really where the intimidation kicks in, because as heavily regulated as the match is by the judge and rules, the wrestlers ultimately, once this, sponsors are done parading around, and all the ritual is over, they decide when the match starts.
I mean,
It's
look at
kinda
how
unique in that
fucking,
way.
like most of this video is devoured by ritual and circumstance.
Yep.
With these guys just doing this face off.
It's all part of like, a lot of people don't like this about sumo because it's before every match, especially in the upper divisions. If you watch lower division sumo, which I really like watching a lot because there's some crazy matches, there's less of this, less pomp, less circumstance.
I've seen that where they do more of a rapid fire. They get out there, they do a truncated kind of version of the ritual, and they just kind of do match after match after match.
Yeah.
But I guess, when you're in the big leagues, you got to make these bigger matches seem more important.
So here's the moment where these guys are really they're doing that pre-fight stare down thing. This is where they have to face each other, and it's a mutually decided start of the match. Once they get through their initial face-offs against one another, and they've gone through the whole cleansing ritual, they will face off like that at the mat, and the match starts when both of them have their both fists on or just behind that line. So one of them might slam the fist down, but he has to wait until the other dude's fist comes down. So it's always a jockeying match of how quickly they're going to start. Are you going to delay the other guy? Or are you going to wait for him to start and count? The strategy begins.
There's a part of a strategy of when you start.
Right. Yeah. Because it's kind of unique in sport because the people participating decide when the match ultimately kicks off. See?
Yeah.
And there was an example of a dude that probably had like a 30 or 40 pound weight.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely had
efficiency.
He definitely had the other guy had the weight advantage, but didn't help.
But and that's actually I can't remember what the name of it is. I'm still learning all the terms for the moves, and we'll take a look at that here in a sec. But it's kind of a controversial move that he pulled here because it denies people that opening clash in favor of a dodge to try and use the other dude's momentum to swing him out of the ring,
which totally makes sense strategically.
But it's you can hear the crowd kind of go like, oh, because they want to see that clash. They want a good match. And this is kind of seen as it's the quickest way that matches end usually.
Yeah.
Is with this initial
not
dodge
that any of them are very long.
instead of a clash. See that?
So yeah, he kind of
he dodges,
redirects the
goes
momentum there.
grabs him around his left arm and swings his momentum around, and then just uses that to carry through, and then he's just easily out. And so the audience, if you listen to the reaction of the audience when we played it before, the audience is not super happy with that.
I'll play it again to see here. Oh, with the speed return to normal.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely appreciative, but
there was a bit of
a
like,
it's like,
little disappointment going on.
It's definitely the shortest matches that you'll see are usually matches where somebody employs that technique there. And it's like, you know, either people in sumo, like sumo fans are like any other sports fans. There are people that are like, oh, fuck that, dude. It's just more skill. You know, you got to train better to counter that type of dodge maneuver and stuff. You got to see it coming when a guy's smaller than you, blah, blah, blah. And then there are other sumo fans like, boo, that sucks. There's no fight. There's no slapping. There's no clash in the middle. It's all over in like 5 seconds. We just sat there and watched 4 minutes of ritual, you know?
Yeah.
So there's definitely a wide variety of opinions on the move, but it's totally legal. And definitely one of the things that you know how you were talking about the size difference between these guys sometimes. Definitely something that is employed pretty heavily by the lighter wrestler.
I mean, yeah, I mean, that's how if there's no way if you're a fucking dude, especially if you, those guys were not that far apart in weight, but if you're fucking really under your opponent's weight, you know, like doing this direct assault shit is just not smart. I mean, like, you're not going to win that way. You're going to have to fucking employ different tactics. Poral. Did you vanish, Poral? I think we might have lost Paul for a second.
Sorry.
Oh.
I fucking muted my mic to cough and forgot to unmute it.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we saw the picture before. That was just the dude throwing the magical salt.
Yeah, it was just him throwing the salt in the ring.
And this is the referee. This is a Gyoji. He gives the signal that they can begin at any time. And then, like I said, it's the wrestlers that decide ultimately when it jumps off. Sometimes they will sit there for a long time just staring at each other, trying to psych each other out before they start that match. And so that's all part of the strategy. One of the interesting things I learned about Gyoji,
dude, I was watching the Gyoji outfit fucking rocks, I gotta say.
Yeah, and so they're just like the wrestlers, they're ranked.
Oh, okay.
And so, like, you have to be a high-ranking Gyoji to ref a high-ranking match. And so each outfit kind of denotes their rank. So each one of these guys at different ranks will have a different color and style of outfit.
I love the little thing they got. I don't know, the little... It's not a fan. I don't know.
It's basically like a fan.
Okay.
It's like a little sign post that is held out to the winner and is used to attract attention in the ring if they need to break up a fight or whatever.
It's on point aesthetically, I gotta say. I love it.
One of the things I remember seeing, I was watching a high-ranking sumo match at the beginning of the month or something. I saw one of these dudes that had like a little sword in his belt.
Oh, okay.
I was like, what's the history of that? And so I looked into it, and it's actually pretty interesting. At the highest level of Gyoji, so if you're like, you know, top rank match type of guy, you're top shelf ref in the sumo world, you carry one of those, and it's an ancient tradition that goes all the way back to the beginnings of sumo. You remember how I mentioned back in the day it was like in front of the emperor and shit? And so if you made a bad call in sumo as a referee and the emperor and his retinue were displeased with the call, they were like, bullshit, he wasn't out, it's a bad call, you were like honor bound to kill yourself in the middle of the ring for as penance.
Just be like, all right, sorry about that call, I am dead now.
Yeah.
You know, like, fuck me.
And it exists today. Nobody's going to be killing themselves over a bad call today. But it exists today as like, it's supposed to be representative of the impartiality of the judge. Like, I'm willing to die rather than fuck this matchup type of, so it's kind of interesting. Because it's the Rikishi that ultimately decide the start of the bout. The moments before, like I said, are incredibly tense. They'll crouch and whoa. TJ Regards Freeze. Hello.
My bad.
Oh, there he is. You
Yeah,
all right there?
Yeah, I was trying to reset the fucking comments in here because I wanted to feature one, but I don't know, it's not showing for some reason. I think it's because it was created as a private stream, but
gotcha.
But anyway, I was someone in the chat just said they liked that they kept staring at their butts. It's like I can't stop staring at their butts. I'm like, I feel like that's pretty normal.
Yeah, I mean,
Especially
like
if you're an American.
you don't usually see people's butts. So if there's
Especially
a butt
not
out,
big fat dudes.
Yeah.
You don't see a lot of big fat dudes wearing thongs in any other context, pretty much.
Not at all.
So,
Give me 1 sec. Vamp for a sec. I gotta pee.
Go ahead. Yeah, I appreciate that, Big, fat, jiggly, fucking sumo wrestler, man ass. You can't fucking, I don't know, you can't fucking deny the power. For you, the tits. Fuscular butts. Yeah, I know, right? I mean, they're not skipping leg day, so you know those butts have got some heft. They got some heft to them, right? Sumo butts. I like them. I don't know. I'm going to fucking do a poll since I'm supposed to vamp anyway. How do you feel about sumo booty? Good shit. Say good shit. Say I 9 in it for some reason. No thanks.
Sorry, had to take a leak. Sitting here doing the PB dance.
Yeah. All right, I think that's enough options. I want to know how you motherfuckers feel about that sumo booty. Tell me.
It's good shit. I gotta vote in this. It's good shit. I voted.
How do you feel about sumo booty? Good shit. Day I or gross. Gross.
Dude.
Don't be a Jordan Peterson, y'all.
Yeah.
Don't be a Jordan. Don't be a JP.
Sorry, not beautiful.
No matter what these authoritarian
Marxist
tolerance, neo-Marx, whatever. Up yours, woke moralists.
Which did you? Oh man, that we just got so much that freak out video when he got banned from Twitter is fucking.
Which one? There's 2 now.
Yeah, the first I must be the first one because I haven't seen anything after it. But the one where he's just like, "Which rules exactly, you sons of bitches?" It's like, oh, you're so butch, dude. You're so butch, Jordan.
You brutes.
Anyway,
yeah.
So inside the ring, wrestlers can pretty much do anything from slapping to tripping to defeat the opponent. There's just a few rules what they can't do. They can't punch, they can't gouge eyes or grab genitals or pull hair. Additionally, if a wrestler's loincloth comes off, it leads to his immediate disqualification. So you got to make sure that your sumo loincloth is tied expertly.
Yeah, so you don't tie that shit wrong, because if that shit falls off, you bring dishonor.
Well, it would be a huge benefit to somebody if they were allowed to keep wrestling without that off, because it like the reason it exists is it provides a grabbing point, a grappling point for the wrestler. So it's
right
intrinsic to the sumo style to try and get your hands around that once you've tied up. And if you're just running around naked in the ring, your opponent has nothing on you that they can grab like that. And so,
well, if you change the genital rules,
right,
have something. But
and so, like, while kind of simple to understand, there's actually 82 different techniques called kimarite, which a wrestler deploys to win the match. We don't have to go through all of them, but you can just kind of scroll down. Pretty much every way that you can win a sumo match is documented and practiced by these sumo wrestlers.
Right. They don't leave nothing to chance. They're like, you got to know how to do all this.
And apparently one of the things that sumo fanatics do in Japan is they'll go to these bars where, you know, they'll watch the sumo tournament live, and they have drinking games based on whether or not how many of these that they can call out accurately.
Oh yeah, I mean there's a lot.
There's 82. And there's actually 5 techniques that are considered techniqueless. So there's 5 ways to win a sumo match that aren't covered here, that aren't good, and like they're not prestigious enough to be given a name, but they're recognized as ways that you can win a match.
But they do exist.
Unlike most other professional combat sports, sumo has, as TJ mentioned earlier, no weight or height class. Occasionally creating mismatches over 100 kilograms. That's 220 pound swing. The current average weight of first division wrestlers is around 353 pounds. The all-time heaviest sumo wrestler named Anatoly Mikhaganov, he weighed 635 pounds. And I've actually got a video of him in a hilarious mismatch.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay. So O'Hara is on the left. That's the small guy. And Aurora was his wrestling name on the right. And this is basically just a giant squash match here.
Let's see how this goes. All right.
But I also want you to watch. Now, pause this real quick. I want you to watch how hard the big man goes down to win his victory here. And imagine being as big as him and falling like that. Guy's dancing around, trying to get a weak spot on him, but he just kind of like.
Ow. Pyrrhic victory right there.
I mean, he won, but at what fucking cost? Dude, I'm telling you, I've never weighed anything close to 630 something pounds, but at my heaviest, probably like 350, 360 or something. If I went down like that, I'd be feeling it for 2 weeks.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, that's fucking brutal.
I mean, you'd be sore.
He face planted.
You'd be sore for straight up 2 weeks.
It's not nice. It's not a nice feeling.
And so these guys, like when we were talking about the musculature and shit earlier, a lot of times that training is to strengthen their joints and shit so that they can withstand all this intense battering and shit. So there are 6 tournaments, as I said, held every year. We'll talk a little bit about this brutal ranking system here. Based on their win-loss record at the end of each tournament, wrestlers are promoted or demoted up and down these ranks. At the very top of this pyramid is Yokozuna, that's grand champion. And they've long been considered like a godlike figure in Japan.
Yeah, they're like
recognized.
They're almost outside the fucking pyramid, you know?
Yeah. They earn upwards of $1 million USD annually. And to get a promotion to this higher rank, you got to win 2 of these tournaments back to back. And as I said, there's only been 72 of these people in history. And there are currently 702 professional sumo. Once a wrestler reaches the Yokozuna rank, he can never be demoted, though he's expected to retire if he can't uphold the rank standard. So if you start sucking, you have to keep wrestling if you're going to be Yokozuna. And if you start sucking, it's really up to you and your honor to go like, okay, I can't do this anymore. And it's usually a pretty sad thing when a Yokozuna retires. They're usually pretty emotional about it because ultimately it means admitting like, hey, I had it and now I ain't got it no more. Like my body's broken down or my desire to win has been extinguished. A lot of them will say things like my heart died. You know what I mean? My will is no longer what it used to be. My body is breaking down. It's very, very emotional thing because they've got to admit that they no longer have it. And you can imagine how tough that would be if your whole life's goal was to get to the top of this pyramid, which the reason it's shaped like a pyramid is because it becomes more and more stressful
Right.
The closer you get to the
It
top.
narrows as you get to the
Right.
top. It doesn't expand, you know. There's less
So
and
if
less
you're an
room
Oz-
for you.
So if you're at the second rung of this, if you're an Ozeki, you have double the amount of Sekiwake that are constantly gunning for a better winning record than you so that they can take your money. Literally, you earn a certain amount of money and sponsorships and shit as an Ozeki, and all the people just below you are desperately trying to claw away your money and make it their money. And the same is true for the people under the Sekiwake. So you can see why it's brutal. As it gets
I mean,
up,
you're basically always watching the rank below because they're coming for you, and you're always watching the rank above because you're coming for them.
Yep.
You know, and it's just like, you know, you're eating fucking 7,000 calories a day. You're fucking
more.
training like a motherfucker, you know.
Yeah, they actually eat way more than 7,000 calories a day. We'll get into it. We're actually going to cover the lifestyle now.
Oh, okay, cool.
So sumo wrestlers lead highly regimented lifestyles. At about 15 years old, they move to what's called a stable, where they eat and they train and they live alongside their fellow wrestlers. Any prize money earned by the wrestlers from a stable is split between the wrestler and the stable. And this is done to align the interests. So to make sure that like a wrestler is as loyal to the other wrestlers in his stable as he is to his own interest. It's a way of keeping everybody honest.
Right. So there's like, even though it's a brutal cutthroat sport, there is like an element of like, you know, teamwork and stuff still. And it also is kind of a way of like ensuring that like no one is allowed to like slack, because if they do, they're bringing the whole fucking stable down.
So when you look into what do sumos eat, their diet is primarily this, which looks way healthier than you would assume what they're eating is. This is called Chonko Nabe. It's a stew with a bunch of different proteins. So it's like fish and squid, and they make meatballs out of pork and chicken, and they throw that in there, and then chicken parts, and they throw that in there, and then a bunch of leeks, and just a bunch of vegetables and meat stewed together.
Mm-hmm.
And the typical sumo wrestler eats 20,000 calories of this a day. So in 2 meals. So they skip breakfast because they go right to training, and doing all that on a super full stomach is not a good idea. And then they have a 10,000 calorie lunch of Chonko Nabe and a bunch of other like rice cakes and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then they take a big ass long nap. And then they
Sorry,
get up.
I don't know why I keep whistling today. This is like my reaction, because like people are like, why are you whistling so much? I don't know.
Whistling Pete over there, dude.
Just a whistler today. I don't fucking know.
Dude, maybe that's your new gimmick. You're the guy that whistles.
Yeah. Do you like whistle tunes? No. When I see something impressive, I just go. That's
Good
it.
Lord, whistling Pete. You can get this, by the way. I guess it's pretty popular in Japan. There's like Chonko Nabe restaurants where you can get like versions of this, and there are even places here in the States where you can get Chonko.
I've never seen this, but I kind of wish I had, because it looks pretty fucking good to me.
I mean, yeah, it looks like it's definitely sustaining and shit. And you can imagine you wake up, no breakfast, you go straight to the fucking gym and start pounding on other dudes and having other, you know what I mean? Like clashing in these sumo bouts. By lunch, you're going to be fucking starving. So that's how they do it. You know, they eat a big giant meal. They take a nap. They wake up from the nap. They do another workout, and then they have dinner and they go to bed.
So sleep, workout, eat 10,000 calories, sleep, workout, eat 10,000 calories, sleep, workout, eat 10,000 calories. And that's just like rinse, lather, repeat.
Yeah, like I said, they have this in addition to like rice cakes and shit. So
Sure,
a lot of
yeah,
that,
they're eating other shit.
they're getting starches and shit.
But this is like a crucial, I mean, like you see, this is like just meat, some vegetables. I mean, you see like some kind of meatballs here. There's some kind of pork or chicken over here. There's definitely some fish in there as well. You know, this, I mean, and the broth, I don't know, it looks really fucking good to me.
I mean, yeah, to me too. I mean, it looks like it's probably pretty tasty. I like those meatballs in there. I mean, I don't know if some of that would be, but I pulled a couple pictures of some different chonkos. It's kind of like seasonal, I guess, too. So it's like whatever's available at the fish and meat market or whatever goes in the Chonko.
This doesn't look as good, but I'd probably still eat it.
Yeah, it's got the shrimp. It's got the mussels. It looks like you got some little potatoes and mushrooms.
Yeah, I'm wondering what those mushrooms are like. They look like they're raw. Or at least
yeah, they kind of do.
Maybe they're steamed. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe this is before cooking. This is like a hot pot dish.
Oh, yeah, that might be it. That might be
I think
true.
that's probably what it is. But yeah, they take a long nap before dinner. I think I got one more picture of some Chonko.
Yeah, here we go.
Oh no.
You don't. You have these guys.
Right. So now that we kind of like have been introduced to the whole kind of idea and history of sumo, I wanted to kind of go like, well, who's the greatest of all time? Who's the GOAT? Who's the sumo GOAT?
That's true. Who's the Michael Jordan of sumo wrestling?
And in my opinion, which is really not even, you shouldn't listen to it because I just got into the sport, there is an answer to this. But it ends up being kind of like this LeBron Michael Jordan thing. So you look at LeBron's stats versus Jordan's stats, he beats him in almost every category. So if there's a lot of people just based on stats alone, they're like, LeBron takes it. LeBron is the best just based on the numbers. But then there's people that are like, well, Michael has double the amount of championships that LeBron has, and he was a way bigger like cultural force. Like he was like a off the court kind of dynamo, whereas LeBron is basically just LeBron James, you know?
Yeah.
And so that argument goes
it's
back
a different
and forth.
time too. Like there's like different training techniques. I mean, like who knows what Michael Jordan would have been in the fucking era of LeBron James, right?
How do you qualify greatness is really the question. And
this
that,
is like the Mike Tyson versus Muhammad Ali thing, you know,
right.
Or you know, there's always like this thing of like, I don't know. It kind of always, I feel like it a lot of times boils down to like the person who's well liked versus the person who is like technically like the numbers are on this person's side, but the hearts of the fans are on this person's side. That tends to be a pretty common division. And when it comes to these, like, who was the greatest arguments in sports.
Right. And so that same kind of thing exists in sumo. And so what I did was I just pulled the person who I like pretty indisputably has the greatest stats in the history of sumo. And one of the things about sumo going all the way back to the beginning is they really obsessively record stats.
Right.
So you can go back and look at the win-loss record of wrestlers from the 1700s. And you know, people
which is crazy, by the way, to have stats that far back to look at, you know?
Right. So this guy's name is Ryden Tamimon. Yes, Ryden after the Japanese god of thunder and like the Mortal Kombat character. He's a real historical figure. Both received their monikers from the Japanese god of thunder, both Ryden and the Mortal Kombat character, obviously. But only Ryden Tamimon actually earned his moniker. He was born Seki Tarokichi. They called him Thunderstorm, Thunder and Lightning, and Thunderbolt, which are the literal meanings of Ryden. He was one of the most physically powerful men in all of Japanese history, according to his stats. He was dominant more than any sumo wrestler, even the more modern Yokozuna. There are a number of modern, there's Hakuho Sho, who had a 20-year career, which is unheard of. He basically served a long running career as Yokozuna. So Ryden, he was about 6'6", and he weighed 373 pounds. So a big boy.
Yes, that's pretty big.
It's about TJ sized, but muscled out.
Yeah. So, I mean, I have never been 373. I am 6'6", or very near it. I think I'm slightly under 6'6", but I'm close enough that I can claim it. And the most that I have ever weighed was about 340. And you know, there was not much muscle on that 340 frame. If I was if I was 373 pounds and a pretty decent mix of muscle and fat, that would be pretty fucking crazy. I could probably do some pretty crazy shit at that point in terms of like displays of strength.
I would imagine. This dude was so like historically big that his size has kind of escaped as a meme / conspiracy theory in modern days. If you look this guy's name up, you will find this video that's next. And it's like, this is Ryden Tamimon, and he was like a lot of conspiracy theorists are like, he was a Nephilim.
Okay.
And you'll see this like unironically posted on a lot of like conspiracy websites.
Oh
and
my
shit.
God. Give me a break, dude.
This is from the
What?
2007 movie Big Man Japan, by the way. And it's obviously fake. But there are tons of people out there who say that this is Ryden here, and this is proof that like
there was
Nephilim.
there was no video cameras in 1767 to 1825, dog.
Right.
Come on.
Let alone the fact that like, well, cleverly disguised by the the tape and shit. This is obviously fake.
Yeah.
No human being has
real.
ever been this big.
No.
And the movie, actually, not to go too far aside, I recommend you watch it. It's actually a really good movie about kind of a reluctant kaiju, like a guy that can get all big and shit and fight off kaiju, but everybody hates him. Like, instead of like being worshipped as the hero that always saves them, people look down on him because he's a freak and he destroys their buildings when he, you know what I mean? Like, when he gets big, he ends up destroying a few buildings, so everybody hates him for what he does. It's an interesting movie. I like it. Despite his size, he was also like one of the reasons he got his name, Lightning. He was super fast. So in addition to being huge, he was like had uncanny speed that he used to best most of his opponents. A combination of massive force and speed allowed him to attain an astounding 254 wins. Only 10 losses to his name. Nobody in sumo is even close to this.
Yeah, I mean, if you have that kind of mass and speed on your side, like that's very difficult to counteract. I mean, that's just pure physics right there. I mean, like mass alone is pretty fucking crazy, but like if you're fucking that big and fast, I mean, yeah, you're gonna just destroy people. Like, there's not a chance for most. I mean, especially you got to figure back in like 6'6" is huge now. I imagine in Japan in the fucking like late 1700s, early 1800s, that's got to be like unbelievable. That's gotta be like someone being like 7'2" today.
They'd be
or
huge.
Something.
Yeah, they'd be just like remarkably huge, even in comparison to all the other sumo. Just like a head and shoulders above them, bulked. And this guy had a pretty prodigious musculature. He was a big dude. He's always represented as a really huge guy. So yeah, I mean, he would have been really dominant in the sport, and he was. There was nobody in history that can even come close to him in terms of record. Another broken record of his is 44 consecutive victories. Nobody's ever racked up that many consecutive victories. He had a win percentage of 96.2, which is unheard of.
That's I mean, I'm not even really super familiar with the sport of sumo, but just like looking at how it's played, that seems insane.
It's out of control.
Considering how easy it is to lose. I mean, like considering how quickly it is and how unforgiving it is as a sport, like to win 44 in a row, to only lose 10 matches out of 264.
Well, you remember you fight every day for 15 days, and he never had 2 tournaments back to back where he lost one. So he has, if you look at his record, it's like 15-0, 15-0, 15-0, 15-0. Like he would win every match on every day of the sumo tournament. He had a perfect clean record. And when he did lose, he never lost in the next, like, so if he went 14-1. In the next tournament, he went 15-0. Like he never did a back-to-back tournament where he even lost one match.
Yeah.
which is fucking crazy. And so his insane domination of the sport, unfortunately, when you're trying to look into the like guy's life, a lot of folklore has sprung up around this guy just based on that.
I mean, that just makes sense.
And so it becomes kind of hard to tell what's real, but much of it is technically plausible and totally badass. So let's learn a little bit about it anyway.
Let's just choose to believe.
Yeah, I choose to believe that this is true. And this is Ryden, by the way, pictured with a bunch of Yokozuna from the past. He himself, and we'll get into why, one of the reasons why people say he's not the greatest of all time, he was never Yokozuna, despite his record, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but we'll get into it.
Yeah, what the fuck?
One time he said to come across a feudal lord's procession on a narrow mountain road while pulling a cart, and not being able to turn back, he lifted the cart above his head to let the other party through. Another story says he was able to lift a wooden or iron tub that his mother was taking a bath in. But thankfully, this appears to be one of the very few training methods utilized by Ryden that involved partial nudity or parental nudity. So I guess he would, lift his mom while she was taking a bath. Being born a young farmer, Ryden, then still known as Tarokichi, didn't really have access to gym equipment. So apparently he hung a 200-pound boulder from one of his plows and used that for strength training. That very boulder, in fact, probably can be seen in the field outside Ryden's preserved home, which is said to have been rebuilt for his parents single-handedly. So he built the house. The rock that he uses is still there. I actually looked into this, and a lot of people say that it's not the rock that he used, that it's just kind of been placed there as a tourist destination or whatever.
Like it's the Loch Ness Monster. Yeah, you know. You know how it goes.
And speaking of single hands, one rumor about Ryden Tamimon was that during a sumo match, he executed the single overhook move by pushing his opponent to the ground while holding his arm and ripped the dude's arm off.
Okay.
He did it. I told you, I choose to believe, TJ.
You know what? Yeah, I choose to believe that.
He ripped a dude's arm off. He lifted a donkey and a cart off the ground so that somebody could pass him on a narrow road. He used to fucking bench press his naked ass mom with water in the tub. And he punched a 200-pound boulder as a workout.
Yeah. Amen.
Why does Paul keep saying Ryden? Isn't it spelled Ryden? Yeah, it's spelled like, oh my God, dude.
They want you to say Raiden.
I know.
They say the Mortal Kombat guy.
Yeah, that's just like, oh my God. It just shows like that's where this dude is at. He's watching along and he's just desperate. Like that's the fourth time I've seen him say something about it.
Raiden.
Like
Raiden,
tomato,
Raiden,
dude.
Raiden.
Whatever. I'm not gonna correct your mispronunciation. So don't correct
mine. They see
mine.
you riding. They hate in.
Hopefully that didn't happen, but sumo officials of the time did temporarily ban the single overhook move for no reason other than that Ryden was using it to dominate everybody, along with other moves like the Supari, which is rapid open-handed strikes, or the forward force down Sabori. So they just like, they were very unfair to him because he was so dominant. They just like banned. They were like, oh, he likes using this move. Banned.
So every time he got a move, they'd be like, nah, can't do that one. So they were like literally trying to like fix the sport against this guy. He was so fucking good.
Yeah, he was quite literally too good at sumo.
Yeah, it's like, it's not fun with you, guy. You're too good at this shit.
And he dominated the sport for pretty much 20 years, which is only matched by a modern Yokozuna, Hakuho Sho, who had another 21-year career, I think it was. The weirdest
always
thing,
looks distressed in all of his pictures, man. He's always got like this sad look on his face. What's going on? Why the Steve Harvey eyes?
There's a reason for that, because he appears here probably next to a bunch of other domineering presences in the sport, but he was never allowed to attain Yokozuna. And that's why he's oftentimes depicted as very sad in these, because he's happy, obviously happy to be included amongst the greats, but he feels you know, there's like this, that's his story, is that despite his dominance, he was denied the ultimate championship.
Wow. That sucks ball. Look at him. He's even got his hand like, what the fuck, bro?
Yeah.
I mean, I thought you supposed to, you had to win 2 tournaments in a row. He won a bunch in a row. What the fuck? What's the deal?
So it's not actually known. The stats were preserved, but the scuttlebutt and drama and shit from that time really wasn't. And so it's kind of impossible to know for sure why he wasn't given Yokozuna. There's a couple of theories. The one that seems to be most accepted when you look into it was that the clan that was responsible for handing out the Yokozuna titles had beef with the clan that sponsored Ryden. And so they were just like, no.
Well, fuck that. What? That's bullshit. Fuck that clan. They should be disbanded.
Yep. They're like, we're the ones that handed out, and we're not giving it. He doesn't get it. No, because you suck or whatever. And that's the one that most people believe, which is kind of shitty. And you would see why he'd be so sad, because he's like, come on, man. Come on. I dominated, and this petty politics shit. But other people believe that it might have had to do with one of the other kind of ideals that Yokozunas are held to. So not only do you have to dominate the sport, you have to basically be an exemplary citizen. Like you're expected, while you're holding title of Yokozuna or attaining it, to be somebody that everybody can point out and go like, this is how you should conduct yourself.
Oh, you gotta be like some kind of role model and shit.
Right. And from all the stories about Ryden, one of the things becomes clear is that he wasn't super virtuous. He was apparently a huge booze hound and known for getting drunk. And there's stories about him drinking 9.5 gallons of sake without even getting drunk. Whoa. Which, you know, are probably apocryphal.
That's probably not true, because yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure 9.5 gallons of sake would get an elephant drunk. So,
but you know, so a lot of people will say that's the more flavorful explanation, was that no matter how good he was at sumo, he couldn't live up to the standards of Yokozuna. So that's possible. I thought we'd end with my current favorite sumo wrestler. This is Kinho. We can watch this.
Second heavier back in action this May after his failure.
Kinho is huge, and he's not in the top 2 tiers, and so he oftentimes is facing off against people that are way below. And I just love what a wall of meat he is, dude.
Yeah, he's definitely huge.
The fact that he's able to get into some of the positions, the crouches and like stuff is pretty shocking. And he always goes down kind of hard too. It's fucking hard to watch him sometimes. But look at him, man.
All right, bitch. Raw.
It's like, you're fucking out of here, bro. Go back home.
My fucking French fries, bitch.
Yeah. And so that's basically like what he's banking on being this big.
And he
is like, I'm not going to win the technical match as far as like positions.
I'm just bigger than you.
Yep. I'm just going to grab onto whatever I can.
Ring, bitch. It's just like, nope.
Force your ass out.
I don't like you. Get the fuck out. Ugh.
I mean, this is just like
out. That guy didn't even try.
I mean, what are you going to do though?
Yeah.
Try what? You know? This giant wall of meat is coming at you.
Oh, man. Listen to this fucking guy. TJ looks epic, but he seems really tired / sad today.
I love concerned trolls, dude.
You fucking bastard, bro.
They're the best, dude. They've always got to be looking out for you, TJ. Wink,
thank
wink.
God that he's there watching out for me.
Because when you were at your lowest, TJ, you know who was there?
It was him.
Stranger Waits was there.
Stranger Waits was there with, to help me out.
He was there to fucking coach you through your hardest moments, man. And he's just concerned you're getting there again, TJ.
Let me help you, guy. Let me help you out. TJ and Paul have a sumo match. We're not capable of this.
Dude, we would hurt each other. We would hurt ourselves.
We would hurt ourselves and each other in the process.
Yeah, it would be not good.
Like, it'd be not a good time.
So you can see this has already gone way longer.
Maybe
than
entertaining,
Kinho.
probably, but
This has already gone like way longer than Kenho wants it to. He wasn't able to force the guy out in the first part, but you can see that one of the things about facing this guy, this dude's trying to get leverage on Kenho's belt, but he's too big. He can't reach around all that belly roll to even get a good grip. Look at this. This has got to be one of the biggest squash matches in history. He sends this dude into the bleachers.
You need to eat
literally
more calories, dude. What?
He's like, get the fuck out of here, kid.
Might as well have just fought a match against a brick wall.
Yeah, seriously. Just throw him in there with a brick wall and have him charge
and the
it.
brick wall just fucking moves forward. I like a sport with no weight classes, dude.
He's moving up the ranks, but he's not like, I don't know why. He's not a super popular wrestler, and he just can't seem to break into some of the upper ranks, but I'm really interested.
It's because he's not super, his style is not very theatrical. Like he does it, but he's just very like, all right.
Well, he doesn't dude, it must take a profound amount of energy just to move any part of your body with this.
Yeah,
so he's giving it like the bare basics.
He does like a very cursory, like, all right, I lifted my leg, I did all this stuff. Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, he's like, I'm observing the tradition, but really what I'm hoping to do is smother you between my man tits and throw you out of this fucking ring in the first 10 seconds of this match.
I love his big oafish face, dude.
Well, I mean, he's so round.
I know. He's just like a big old fucking oaf. I like it. I mean, I'm not sure what his actual personality is like, because any sort of real human characteristics are just kind of buried under a wall of fat.
I'm sure he's a nice fucking guy, man.
Yeah, I'm sure he's fucking nice and all that.
But yeah, no, he is an odd looking dude.
He looks like a
guy.
fucking oaf, though. He just has this like flat face look. You know, I can't even do it because it's, you know, it's too much, but.
So yeah, anyway, that's my sumo episode. There's a couple of channels that I watch if you're looking to get into it.
I fucking liked the sumo episode. I'm down with that shit.
Well, there's
I'm actually probably gonna go check out some sumo shit.
Yeah, there's a couple of channels that I'll recommend. One's called Sumo Stew.
Sumo
It's a good channel for English language explanations of different things. I got a lot of my information from that channel. There's another channel I follow called Chris Sumo. Pretty easy to find, and he's actually works for the Japanese Broadcast Association, doing English language commentary and puff pieces and stuff on the wrestlers. And he's pretty good for not only like examining some of the technique, but also talking about some of the elusive kind of like behind the scenes shit. And it's real interesting stuff. So if you liked it, check it out.
Yeah, and I want to let you guys know two things real quick before we get going. First of all, me and Paul in a minute here are going to be doing a grease trap behind the Patreon paywall. So that's a good reason to get behind the Patreon paywall. Another good reason to get behind the Patreon paywall is because this Wednesday we're going to be doing yet another one of our horrifying gauntlet episodes, this time featuring Tucker Carlson. I know you guys want the Jordan Peterson one. We're building to it, you know. Good things come to those who wait, but Tucker Carlson,
we have to work our way up to the Jordan
appetizer.
Peterson.
Yeah, he's the next one on our run. We already have conquered Ben Shapiro. Now it's time to conquer Tucker Carlson. And then, you know, we got a few more rungs on the ladder to climb up before we get to that Jordan Peterson one. Because like, I don't even know how the fuck we're gonna survive, because half the time I just zone out because I can't even pay attention to the fucking guy. He just starts prattling, and it's like, what is this guy even fucking talking about? And then all of his fanboys are like, you just don't understand because you're stupid. It's like, no, I just don't understand because it doesn't make fucking sense.
Thank you, Dr. Peterson, for saying what we're all thinking and having the courage to say it. It's like, oh my God, what a gaggle of weirdos.
I think we started off with 2 hours base time of Tucker, and then for every 10 people, we add another 30 minutes. I don't know how many we probably have added at least 30 minutes to an hour already, but we're going to be adding more as we go along. So go ahead and join our Patreon. For every patron we get, it adds a little time. So
yeah, that'll be on Wednesday. So yeah, Wednesday the 20th. We'll see you guys there. And yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good one.
Hell yeah, motherfuckers.
Become a patron.
Bye-bye.